Heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for the Driving to Fall sales event?
Right now, you can save up to $8,250 off MSRP on one of America's favorite and most loved SUVs, the brand new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. It's the perfect combination of space, tech, and power to do whatever you need, from hauling the family around to family vacation.
Yeah, everyone I know that's had a Grand Cherokee says they love it.
It's true. There's something special about the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and now is the perfect time to check it out and save big with Hoblet. But whatever you're looking for, you can find it at Hoblet. Check out our certified pre-owned supercenter with nearly 200 vehicles available and over 50 under $20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$8,250 total net savings on 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited after $4,750 factory rebates and $3,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 select inventory bonus cash and $500 first responder bonus cash for eligible first responders. 3 net savings, simple VIN, 352-391. See dealer for details.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys.
Hey, welcome into the Drive Guys. Just drive people today. We're just driving.
Drive peeps.
We're driving. The Drive.
The Drive.
Chris Watkins, Kayla Anderson, Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason had to leave us. He is feeling a little under the weather. We, of course, thinking about Whitey and hope he can make it back by the end of the week. I know, of course, burying the lead here. Kings opening night. We know Whitey, of course, wanted to be here. I'm sure it's killing him to not be here. But here we are. As the Sacramento Kings open up the season tonight in Phoenix against the Phoenix Suns. Last night, of course, we got ring ceremonies in OKC. We got a good game in LA. It wasn't a great game, wasn't a great finish. We've seen that matchup tens of hundreds of times already. We kind of knew how that one was going to play out. But it's just good to have basketball back in the air. It's good to have Kayla Anderson back in the studio with us. Of course, Jay Johnson on the other side of the glass. Kayla, I am a massive basketball junkie. You know how much I loved last night. How excited were you to just kind of get back in here again? King, you're here on Kings opening night. You've been doing a great job all summer of kind of getting into the King spirit, and now we're officially here. No more waiting.
No more waiting. And I know Sacramento Kings fans that have been here like you forever, like Jay, like you guys are excited because it is always the optimism that like you get to look forward to at least for one night. Like it's like, okay, we have a little bit of optimism no matter what the situation might be with the Kings right now because it is a new year. I know that can quickly fade for some people. It can quickly fade. But I'm excited to be here. I have not in my career covered an NBA team in that city. So I've covered like the Cleveland Cavaliers from Columbus, from afar. But covering an NBA team in the actual city is much different. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of gear up to this moment and to see how you guys are all just really excited. You got your gear on and everything. But NBA opening night was fun. Like,
it was great.
That first game, especially with the Thunder and the Rockets and obviously the ring ceremony and the cool white jackets. Like, I was all about those white jackets. I thought those were fire.
I don't know if you got to look at the ring too,
The
but
ring was bling.
It feels like every ring just gets bigger and better and
sparkly.
more shiny and more diamonds and more layers to
For
it.
sure.
Like, I think this one, you can open it up and it's got the court and you can go underground.
It plays video of like
On
the
the ring?
highlights of like when you open the box up that the ring was in. I saw Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's box that he opened up, and it was like playing the highlights, and then he took the ring out. And I was like, this is where we're at.
Next level stuff. I mean, the rings just keep getting bigger and better. And the season, the game last night definitely exemplified that. Double overtime, all you could ask for an opening night. Good to have NBA back on NBC as well. Like that
was different,
candidly,
right?
like I got some of it when I was a small child. Kings Lakers games on NBC. I still kind of have the nostalgia of round ball rock and all of that. And it was just great to have all of that. I don't know how much you saw of the Michael Jordan halftime
I
thing.
really enjoyed it.
Good.
Actually.
I did too. I've seen a lot of poo-pooing it online.
Really?
A lot of people, a little bit sour grapes. A lot of people kind of disappointed that, because NBC promoted it more of just, hey, we have Michael Jordan as an analyst. Didn't really specifically give what his role would be. Many questioned what it would be if he would be physically there in studio or if he would, just kind of be in Jordan headquarters, remotely and kind of stream in for 5 minutes. And I think people were just disappointed to see that it's a interview with Mike Tirico that I think just a lot of people are assuming is going to be, rolled out throughout the entire year, minute and a half clips of a 2-hour full interview. And so I think people were just disappointed at
he wasn't there live.
He wasn't there. And but honestly, I'm much more on your side. Like, it was just good. I don't know if this is too simple, but it was just good to have Michael Jordan back in our lives, right? Even if it is for that small of a capacity. Like, it's a guy who's just he's a shadow. Like, you never really see from him. You never hear from him. 100% on purpose. And it's going to be interesting to hear his thoughts. Like, I don't necessarily know how much I'll agree with them. I don't necessarily know how much we should be having sports debate about Michael Jordan's thoughts on player empowerment and all that. Because frankly, he kind of said it last night, but I just don't know how much he's even watching the games, how much he cares about the NBA in total. And so, I don't necessarily know how much we should take his opinion into factor. But again, it's just nice to kind of have him back in our lives, have him, talk. I thought the story he shared yesterday, I thought it was
so
great.
I thought that was Michael Jordan, like maybe how I haven't really seen him, how honest he was. Yeah. And give props to Mike Tirico. By the way, I think he's great at what he does. And
it was good to have him back on basketball too, right?
Because he does like he can
everything,
do anything. Yeah. But Mike even kind of pestered him a little. And I thought that was funny how he was like, okay, come on. Really, Mike? Like, you don't like want to be back on the court. Like, he was like pestering him to get the true answers out of him. And then he told the story about how he had really not picked up a basketball in like 15 years until recently at the Ryder Cup. He was like renting out this house and the kids asked him to shoot a free throw. He goes, I have not been that like nervous in 15 years to pick up a basketball. And he was like, did you make the shot? He goes, of course I made the shot.
And I'm calling cap on that. I don't think he hit the shot. I really, like, that to me was the most, like, Michael Jordan being LeBron James moment that I've seen. It's just like, Mike, I'm sorry. Like, maybe you did make it. whatever. I'm not going to sit here and argue all day, but he was like, swish. Absolutely.
I know.
No doubt. I'm like,
you're like, did you though, MJ?
I kind of feel, again, Michael Jordan, and I think that's Michael Jordan's greatest superpower, whether he did it or whether it was the unintentional machine behind him. But like the story building that has been Michael Jordan's entire career is the Michael Jordan story, right? Like hey, this guy never lost. He is the ultimate competitor. He was cut from his high school basketball team and became the greatest of all time. Like, there's nuggets of truth in all of that. And of course, like there is more of a reality that maybe if he was in today's NBA, like it would kind of be churned out differently. But that definitely, I thought it was, again, I in total thought the segment was great. I thought the story was great. I thought it was a cute story. I thought it kind of like you said too, Mike is such a stonewall. He's very selective about the appearances and the things he says. Kind of getting a little bit of the real human Michael Jordan, I think was obviously humanizing for him. And he's not just a logo, of course. He's not just a crying meme. It's going to be interesting. And that's where I think I'll leave it is. It'll be interesting. What the rest of the Michael Jordan rollout experience is going to be, because I do kind of feel like at some point it would be nice to get this guy to physically be there in an arena talking about the game and, again, just I think hearing him and having him actually involved. But I think in general, NBC did a great job of the whole production. I didn't think it was blow my socks off. I don't think they changed the way that NBA broadcasts are going to look forever. It was definitely a more basketball-friendly podcast. It kind of was a podcast, too, it was a much more friendly broadcast, I think, where, like, TNT, you get the Chuck and Shaq, and they're kind of, making fun of players, kind of crapping on the league a little bit. I think it was definitely more of a celebratory warm hug of an NBA broadcast.
Yeah, and you kind of, when you do, a hard launch like that, and I know it's been, 2 decades or whatever since it's been on NBC, when you redo something like that, there are expectations that, like, you have to have it a certain way, and we're in 2025 now. Like, things aren't going to be the same. So clearly, you've got a little bit issues with the audio and stuff like that. I know that people are going to pick apart from the beginning of the broadcast, but altogether, I think once it starts rolling with some of those former players that are on the desk with Maria Taylor, I think that they are who they are. And I liked how they interviewed some of the players from Oklahoma and from from the Rockets last night during the pregame broadcast. I thought that was cool to have them, at the desk and talking to them. I thought that was really real, and you never know what you're going to get in that situation as well. So, altogether, I thought it was great. It was a great way to kick off the NBA season, and now we get to see it with the Kings.
Absolutely. Yep. Opening day is today. The feelings are feeling, and all the hope, all the optimism in the world exists today because, like you said to start the show, it's all brand new. It's all fresh. They're all 0-0, except for the Lakers, which should be noted. 0-1. Love to see them at the bottom of the standings already, but it should be a good one tonight. I think, obviously, tons of questions from the Sacramento Kings side of things. Most importantly, I think is just the answer we're going to get first and foremost. Who starts for Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis? Obviously, both of those guys will be out tonight with injury. Sabonis to his hamstring, Keegan Murray to his thumb, which he had surgically repaired a few weeks back. We'll see. We'll see what the Kings are going to answer with there. That is going to be, of course, the first question answered, but many, many questions still need to be answered for tonight, for the season. Kayla, do you have anything that's just last time you and I talked, actually, specifically, it's funny, we can reference last night again. Jonathan Kuminga has himself a really, really good night. The last time you and I talked, we were in the thick of the Jonathan Kuminga kind of winding down his trade saga, will he, won't he, with the Sacramento Kings. He's not on the roster for the Kings tonight. Is there anything in particular that you're kind of looking for to be answered, or even just to kind of get a better picture of?
Yeah, clearly you just mentioned the 2 pieces that were out tonight. And good thing they have Dennis Schroeder, because I know that he was dealing with a little bit of injury earlier this week. So it's good to know that they'll have their point guard. But I'm interested in to, first of all, see like what the rotation is going to look like. Because when you have two key pieces out like that, it does kind of, make everything a little different. And so we'll see who the starting 5 is, but then what's the rotation look like? we saw the preseason defense, and let's just say it was lacking. Okay,
yeah. Did we see the preseason defense?
That's the better question.
I saw very minimal defense,
yes.
So I don't know if we saw
it
defense
all.
in the preseason.
And we know like that's been the calling, whatever the theme that they've tried to embrace
100%.
this off season going into the preseason. We just haven't seen it yet. So, do we get a restart here?
Yep.
Like in this first game against a Phoenix Suns team who, by the way, prides themselves on the way they play defensively.
Sure.
Can we just get a little defense out of this Kings team and they can just pump out the offense? That's all they really need in this situation against, like I said, a Phoenix Suns team who is better in transition, they can score off turnover. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting battle of the bottom right now. But I would just like to see what the rotation will look like, and will we see just a glimpse more of this defense that we want to see, just the effort, I guess, because we will see Russell Westbrook out here at
100%.
some point tonight, and we all know that he kind of can set the tone in certain situations for demanding that.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think you put that great. I think that's what I'm looking for is, again, who's coming in, and then how much are we going to lean on the starters? How deep into the bench is Doug going to go tonight? And then you mentioned the defensive end of things. It's said all the time, especially against the Sacramento Kings, but everybody's an NBA team. Everybody's full of professionals on the other side. You can't let anybody get going, and so you can't let, especially a guy like Devin Booker, which we are all well aware of what Devin Booker is capable of.
Yeah,
that should 100% be on the Kings' priority list. And if it's not, if it's the opposite, as a matter of fact, because it might be, hey, let Devin Booker cook. But you can't let anybody else get going. Don't let Dylan Brookses of the world start to hit 4 or 5 threes, because that's really where you get scary. That's another element where I'm looking for, again, to more so highlight the defensive end of things, like what is going to be their strategy. And again, more so to your point, where's the buy-in going to be, and how much of the buy-in is going to be there. We really didn't see, again, much of it in the preseason. This is where things are actually going to start to count, okay? These things all start to begin to tell the story. You can't just say, oh, it's the first 5 games, flush them down the toilet, because that first 5 games, if you go 0-5 where maybe you could have or should have gone 2-3, that could be the difference, especially in an incredibly loaded, tough Western Conference, between, a home play-in game versus you're the 10 seed and you have to play the best remaining of the play-in game, or of the play-in team. So, again, every single one of these games count. You really can't discount it to, start of the season jitters, maybe they need to get together. That time is now over. The time for play is over, and now is when it gets 100% real. And, you're in Phoenix tonight against a team that doesn't project to be very good, but this is kind of the worst part of playing bad teams in the beginning of your schedule is they're 0-0 as well, and they still have all the hope in the world. It hasn't fully crashed down on them yet what the expectations were versus what the reality of the season will be.
And they've got a new coach. They've got a new there's a lot of newness there for them. Yeah. Here, there's newness, but there's also the veteran side of things. And so I'm just overall, Chris, too, interested to see with some of these really, veteran NBA guys here, how that's all going to mix. But then more so tonight, again, with the lineup, we're just a little bit unsure of how it's going to look. Yeah. With a guy like Nate Clifford, who I think we all have now even higher expectations for, because he has looked good. Yeah. In NBA Summer Ball. He has looked good in the preseason. Yep. He can defend. He can shoot. Yep. So, what do we really expect out of this guy this year? I think he's got a lot riding on his shoulders, but that's what the NBA is. He's an older rookie. Yep. I feel like he handles pressure from what we've seen pretty well, but people are now going to expect more out of him. How much do we even see from him tonight?
No, absolutely. It's a great question, and something that I heard Jay and Matt and Whitey talking about yesterday is, how much can you really put on Nate Clifford in game one? I think Jay actually specifically was pushing against it, right? In terms of, how much this is, again, his first NBA action on the road as well. That's a little bit of an element to this. Jay, I don't really want to speak for you, but how do you kind of feel about the position that Neek's in here? Obviously no Keegan tonight. It feels like there would be justification motivation for giving Nick a pretty heavy load. But, just kind of how do you feel about his situation going into tonight?
I was talking to a friend in the NBA 2 days ago, and he is a former player, now analyst. And he gave me a metaphor where we were talking about the Kings, and he was talking about young guys and stuff like that. Just take yourself back to 6th grade and or take yourself back to 8th grade. And then you have the summer. You're the big dog when you're in 6th grade. You're the big dog when you're in 8th grade, right?
Right.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you have the summer, and you might have an older sibling. You might have a friend. You might have a cousin, somebody that's a little older than you, and they tell you it's going to be a little different in junior high, and it's going to be a little different in high school.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you see it when it comes to rookies.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially guys who are on the fringe, and no disrespect to Nick Clifford,
Right.
but when you're on the fringe of not a lottery guy, not someone who, like a Cooper Flagg, who was guaranteed to walk in and be a starter no matter what, you have to let them kind of settle in. And so I put that out there. If you're a listener and you can take yourself back to 8th grade and you get back into high school, and I always tell people that was the biggest transition, because you go from being a kid and you walk into high school, and one of the things you see some of your cohorts, they're driving to school now. Everybody ain't getting dropped off, right? You see people driving to school, you like, damn, they go here? Or that's somebody's big brother or sister. Right. And so that's the point. And I just give you a long metaphor and analogy. That's the way I see it with Nick. You gotta let him kind of ease in, because he's not Cooper Flagg. Mm-hmm. He's not the number 1 pick. He's not the number 2 pick. He's not the 13th pick. He doesn't have a guaranteed spot. Now you come in and you do something, off the bench and prove it. And we see it before. We see it with quarterbacks. You let them ease into the season, unless you're the number 1 pick and all the, everything is on your shoulders. So I think that's where I'm looking at when it comes to Nick. You just let the wily veteran DeMar do what he needs to do.
100%. Yeah, I think, you mentioned that specifically also yesterday. It's like you want to trust Nick Clifford in game number 1 versus DeMar DeRozan, who's entering year 17, all the accolades, everything, all the points, it goes on and on. Do you really want to, in game 1, pick that over the other, what you do know versus what you don't know? But yeah, Jay, I think that's put perfectly, because I think especially, like you said, with great power comes great responsibility. When you are picked that high, there's just a certain level of expectation that is different than when you're picked, 21 or something like that. And so when you are picked 21, even if you've shown and you've hit all the milestones, you've hit all the check marks that, someone should hit, Nick played about as good as you can in the preseason, you're still going to get spoon-fed opportunities, and you're not just going to get thrown into the fire. It's a blessing and a curse to be thrown in the fire, right? We've seen guys obviously get an opportunity from day one and run with it. We've also, especially here in Sacramento, Ben McLemore comes to mind, Thomas Rahman. There's the list goes on and on of guys who got the opportunity to start day one, and it ended up honestly being too much for them. Maybe they should have found out, hey, what am I comfortable, to Jay's point, what am I comfortable with in the NBA? And now that I'm getting these spoon-fed opportunities, let me kind of do that. And then, oh, hey, I have a little more opportunity. Let me see if I can do this versus just going, 100%. And again, that's how you lose games as well in the beginning of the season, giving young guys opportunities where maybe especially the Kings right now, they're trying to maximize these older guys for however long. We don't know if it's going to be 20 games. We don't know if it's going to be 82 games, but they're going to try and win with this older, more veteran group for however long they can before I think a lot of people are hoping that maybe that's when we'll start to see more of the Nick Clifford and other opportunities. And
I get both of y'all's point. And Jay, what you had said about, I think we're anxious sometimes as fans because we see the new shiny toys, and then we also see the toys that have kind of been in the play box and have been played with, and we're like, well, we're bored of them. And I get that completely. I will admit, I get that way as well. And even when I cover teams, I get bored of that, and I want to see the new shiny toys. But there's a way to manage it and a way to work them in so that it isn't a factor that you're overwhelming them. And I think that's what's great about Doug Christie from what I have gathered is being a former player himself. He can understand that side of things. I think he knows his players well and is going to get to know them even more so as the season goes along. But yeah, I think that fans are excited about some of these new players because they want to see, what they can get out of them. And maybe they're not as on board with some of these older guys, DeMar DeRozan, but yet they have stuff left in the tank, and they are on the team, and you've got to utilize them right now.
Make sure real fast, because you know how people are. Nick Clifford was 24th pick.
24th, thank you.
24th. They traded up, right, to get him?
Yes, they did. Yes, they traded up to get him.
You know how it goes. Somebody's going to say,
100%.
Chris, they're not 21st right. You know how it goes.
Pick number 24. Please get it right, sir.
Kayla, I think the point you just made about Doug is a great one as well. Like him on both sides, understanding, since I was a player, I know what Nick Clifford's mentally like right now going into his first game. Is he even really thinking about basketball, or is he thinking 10 million other things versus, again, a guy like DeMar DeRozan? I know that DeMar's going to show up ready game one. I also know maybe the where those guys are at in terms of, hey, DeMar DeRozan, it leads into the bigger conversation. Again, I know Jay and Whitey were talking about it yesterday, but, talking about DeMar DeRozan maybe coming off the bench eventually. Yeah. I think Doug just has a better understanding maybe mentally of what that potential impact could be, because a different young coach in their first opportunity might say, hey, I'm going to go with the young guy who makes us more athletic versus the older veteran who maybe just makes more sense off the bench because, I'm new and I want to make my stamp.
My way, yeah.
And again, I think it's a really good point you make, that Doug kind of having that experience, understanding maybe where both of those guys are at in their careers, and understanding as well, this is game one. It's something that really stuck out to me last night in the Rockets-Houston OKC game. Mm-hmm. Ime Udoka did not bring in Amen Thompson back in. It is game one. You cannot say, I am trying to win this game as much as possible. You have to sit your player and say, look, we play again if you're the Kings, you play again on Friday, okay? It's wonderful new season, but of course, tons of new questions that come with that. We continue the conversation on the other side, and also, of course, want to hear your questions. What questions do you have heading into the season, and what do you want to see from your Sacramento Kings tonight?
Wait. Are you trying to break on me already?
I was going to.
No. We got time, baby.
Jay's
we got time here, man.
For
you listen. You do you, man, and we go control the clock.
Man.
No, I'm just playing.
I got thrown in here last minute.
I was just playing, man.
I was just trying to keep the flow going.
I know you were, man. I didn't mean to break you up. You had a good toss going real fast. I had to extend it here a little
all
bit.
Good.
All
good.
Just
a
roll to do it. Yeah, but go ahead, do your tease. That's my.
No.
Now I'm interested in what you had to say, Jay.
No,
it's coming back on the other side. Don't worry about it.
There we go.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called a tease. Jay Johnson, best in the business. You hear what Jay's got to say on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Drive, guys, right here, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Suns.
Tip-off at 7, your exclusive home for Kings basketball.
Is Sactown Sports 1140.
Footballs are flying. The days are getting shorter. Fall is officially here. Will your heater be able to get you through the winter? The heater at Whiteywood shut down last winter. So who did we call? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. We wanted somebody we could trust to do the job right and deliver great value, and Lee's came through. Check them out at leesair.com. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating has built a reputation as the leading HVAC company in Sacramento. We've got a new HVAC system that works great, saves us money month to month. Find out how they can help you at leesair.com. License number 635355.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Ready to pregame for your next big arena event? Head to Beach Hut Deli, a Sacramento tradition for over 40 years where aloha is served daily. Located just steps from the arena, whether it's game day or a concert night, it's the perfect spot to gather with friends and enjoy amazing sandwiches. Planning a bigger get-together? Beach Hut Deli offers endless catering options to bring those fresh, delicious flavors to your next party or event. Beach Hut Deli. Good vibes, great food, and epic times await.
Right now at Maida Subaru, get 2 season passes to Sierra at Tahoe with purchase or lease of any new Maida Subaru. Plus, great Maida Subaru savings on every new Subaru. Learn more at maidasubaru.com.
Ends 1/2/26.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Welcome into the Drive Guys, getting you ready for Sacramento Kings opening night as they take on the Phoenix Suns. We've got game night at 5:30. Of course, Kings pregame at 6:30, taking you all the way to the G-Man at 7 o'clock for tip-off. Can't wait for that one, of course. I think I saw they changed the name of the Suns Arena. It is no longer...
It's so hard to keep up.
They actually changed it twice. Yeah, it's no longer Footprint.
Okay.
It is now like Money Mortgage Arena or something like that. I just know that Steve Kerr famously said it's like a house party up in there because of how loud their DJ plays the music. So I always just call it Club Phoenix.
Mortgage Matchup Center.
Mortgage Matchup Center. Boy, oh boy.
All right.
I've heard great things about that stadium for what it's worth.
Fun.
I think
I've
it's
been in
a
it.
casino too, isn't it? Like a one
Connected.
big. I think it's like a whole complex thing. So yeah, we'll see how things go. What is that? Down in Phoenix?
Yeah, it's like
that,
the heart
what
of
direction?
Phoenix.
Is that down?
Yeah, down to
It's like down to the yeah.
By the
okay.
D-back
Down in
stadium.
Phoenix. So yeah, there we go. That'll be again tonight at 7 o'clock. We got all the action for you as we do all season long. Kayla and I were kind of talking before the game about with the Peacock games and even NBC Sports. Obviously NBC Sports California, but like if you don't have the YouTube TV, like are you able to watch it clearly? I'll tell you what, you have no problem if you just listen to Sactown Sports 1140.
It's very true.
That's
And
the only plug
I said
I'll give.
I might be doing that tonight until I figure out the TV portion
I guess
of
not
things.
watching the game. It's a good way of
the
digesting the game. Can't
you
get
have
better
to
than the
really
G-Man.
think a little harder in terms of the visual.
Of course.
But if they do a good job, which they always do here,
G-Man's the best.
then it should be fine.
It will be. I promise you it will be. There's no better experience than listening to the G-Man make the call. I should ask Jason Ross before, but what season this is for G-Man. I know he just celebrated, what was it, like his 1,000th game 2 seasons ago.
Wow.
So, I G-Man, just the ultimate professional. Love that man. And, excited for him to do yet another season of Sacramento Kings basketball. As, again, they take on the Phoenix Suns. They will look to slow down Devin Booker and one Dylan the Villain Brooks, who I think is again, as I mentioned, kind of in the what defensive strategy are they going to take? Are they going to look to take out Devin Booker and kind of and let anybody else beat them? Or will it be the inverse? Let Booker cook. Don't let the Dylan Brookses of the world start to feel themselves and take over. Dylan is obviously, as I mentioned, known more so for his antics, more so known for being the villain, getting underneath guys' skins. And, this is his first game for the Suns, which you mentioned. They're going through a lot of newness. Jalen Green, one of those new things, as they got him in the Kevin Durant trade as well.
And he's out.
He is out tonight. And so they're going to be obviously leaning a ton on Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker to score on the offensive end. How do the Kings, I think, deal with more the emotions that Dylan brings? And I think that's maybe where a guy like Russell Westbrook is going to be good for this unit, not only for the energy he brings to just the team, but I think kind of going mano-a-mano with Dylan Brooks as well. I think they kind of have never had that edge these past couple years.
And that's a thing that does maybe make something like this fun in terms of, talking and whatever you want to bring what's the word you would use for that? Just
I mean, it's more, you're saying more than like trash talk. It's more of just it's really just competitiveness, especially with those two guys
seeing
specifically.
Those two specifically now that Westbrook is here and will be playing. And with Devin Booker, and you were saying, pick your poison, I guess, in that situation. Because Devin Booker is clearly been there for a while, and I think you look at him as a playmaker, right? Mm-hmm. He can make the plays, he can assist in all capacities, and so it's like, do you double team him and then that leaves then Brooks open, so it's going to be the puzzles have got to maybe be shifted around a little. I'm curious as to what Doug Christie comes up with tonight, who is defending Dylan, who's on Dylan tonight. Can you, like you said, if you even let Devin Booker do his thing, you have to make sure that everybody else doesn't. Absolutely. And so that's what I'm interested in. How do they pick to go about this defensively? And because everyone's going to score points, but I think the Kings can capitalize more so on the points part of things
100%.
Than anything else.
100%.
You know?
Because that's the thing that the to your point, the Suns don't have. It's just an arsenal of people who can get buckets like that.
And again, the Kings right now, for the most part, that's what they have.
We can't point to many, many, many positives, but one of the few that we can point to is they have scores for days. Mm-hmm. They're all guards as well. Phoenix just doesn't have that litany of scores that you would go down the list, and especially without Jalen Green.
And Grayson Allen is.
I think he was on the list. I didn't. I'm not sure if he's out or if he's going to be playing tonight. But I do know for a fact he was on the injury report in the days leading up to the game. So, and if he's out as well, that's another one of their scores. 3-point shooters especially, that's going to be out of the game. So I would imagine, kind of like you said, Phoenix will ideally lean into their defense. I think we'll see how much the Kings can kind of match them on that end. And I think in an ideal world, the Kings should have the firepower to match them offensively. It's just, what are they going to do on the defensive end? We've seen Keon Ellis be somebody that has been comfortable guarding the Devin Bookers. As you try and figure out, hey, is this guy someone who can guard point guards to power forwards to centers, or is he someone who is more just on the ball, or can he guard wing? Can he guard the LeBrons of the world? Can he guard Paul George's? And I think we found that Keon's sweet spot is really that Devin Booker, obviously point guards as well, but I think a guy like Devin Booker is exactly who you would want Keon Ellis to be guarding. And if you are going to throw one person on Devin Booker and maybe not throw those double teams, I could see Keon Ellis maybe being somebody who gets the benefactor of just kind of getting those minutes and getting that role tonight. But I'm really, really fascinated to see just what they do with Phoenix.
Before we get Jay's take, I wanted to say I did have a little, we were talking about the Suns defense and how they're kind of, priding themselves right now on that type of style until they get this offense of what they want their identity to be. But so in the preseason, the Suns ranked second in the NBA in steals per game. They had 12.5, fifth in defensive rating, which was a 102.2, and first in points off of turnovers, which was 31.3. So thought that was really interesting. Preseason's preseason, guys. I get that. But just to kind of set up some sort of a example of what they were doing in the preseason as a defensive team.
No, 100%. So. And that's maybe even a point to, like you said, the identity that they're trying to build this season, being defensive minded, but also specifically, hey, you might not have like the most skilled individual defenders, create chaos, right? Like that has especially become a really big staple in the NFL, right? Like is just, hey, at the end of the day, if you're causing turnovers, causing chaos, causing disruption to the other team, that is a really good formula to win. And maybe, again, if maybe your individuals aren't a unit that maybe speaks to an elite unit, I think creating chaos and creating turnovers definitely is a surefire way to at least create create chaos. 100%.
Exactly. We don't want to do it in life, but we want to do it on the hardwood and in
100%.
sports.
Especially if you can thrive in it, and if you have a guy like Devin Booker who can just go out there and get a bucket in chaos, I think that's absolutely something that they should try and lean into, and we'll see how the Kings deal with it. This is a unit that is pretty fresh. I mean, especially considering Sabonis and Keegan, the two longest tenured Kings,
10 new players
aren't going to be there. Is that I haven't done the numbers actually.
Yeah, I think I read it was
That's incredible.
Yep. Added 10 new players this season.
So there you go. I mean, that really says it. And then again, like two of those returning players aren't going to be out there for you tonight. Isaac Jones actually, I believe, isn't going to be out there tonight as well with an illness. So there's 3 returning players that won't be out there tonight, and that's actually really disappointing because I think Isaac Jones really could have made a nice little opportunity for himself with Keegan Murray out these next couple games. Jay, we've teased it enough. You had some thoughts at the end of last segment as we were kind of talking about big questions heading into the season and just the general feeling of this team going into the year.
Yeah, I was before I touched that, though, that was interesting. 10 new players.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here literally counting the roster now.
For the Suns.
Oh,
sorry,
for the Suns.
I think
okay.
sorry,
but it
guys.
still sounds right for the Kings, though, because there is a lot of new players.
Am I miscounting? Am I not adding the G League guys? I'm
sorry,
literally
I thought for some reason we kind of turned, but yes, for the Suns. Sorry, I did not make that.
So you got, but with that being said, let's count them. You got Max, that's 1.
It's not crazy.
Daquan, DQ, friend of the show, that's 2.
Neek.
You got Drew Eubanks, 3. I'm just going down the roster.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dennis Schroeder, that's 4.
Yeah.
You've got Dario Saric, 5. You've got Neek, 6. Russ, 7. Cardwell, 8. Isaiah Stevens, 9.
Woo,
so there you go. Yeah, I was like, you said it, and I was like,
either way.
It doesn't sound that off.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And again, like it doesn't feel like it is that new, that fresh, especially considering Jay would tell you all offseason. I don't think anybody really felt like this Kings roster got flipped on its head at all. But I mean, just, looking at those raw numbers, 9 new players. Now, granted, a lot of those guys are more fringe rotation guys, but the problem is, I think tonight a lot of those guys are going to be going. I'd be shocked if we didn't see both Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric tonight. I'm pretty curious, if we're going to get Max and some of the other guys. So, Jay, go ahead.
I think, and I'm literally just making sure I counted properly.
You did.
And I didn't mess anything up.
Is this real?
I think the huge question, and you guys are kind of touching on it, and we said it, a little bit yesterday. I think it's when it's overall looking at the whole product when it comes to the Kings. I truly believe as a fan, and I'm speaking as a fan and maybe a researched fan here, somebody doing my job. I think if you ask most people, the conversation so far has been, do you tank? Do you not tank? When do you? And you guys touched on it, and this was what I was getting ready to get to is 20 games. Do you allow Doug to cook for 20 games, Coach Christie to cook? And then if not, does Scott Perry make a move? Is DeMar on this roster at the end of the season? With all that being said, I think if we take a step back, and this isn't a conversation that we really need to go down a trail, but I think the big picture for most Kings fans is, are you going to let stability lay, or is this going to just be another interchangeable season? And that's, for me, that's the big picture. Yeah. Now, you can point the finger at whoever you want when it comes to that. You could say ownership group, you could say front office, you could say coaching staff, you can say player. However you see fit, please ask the question. But I really think we've been sold on stability. We've been sold on Scott Perry is going to be here for 5 years, which his contract says. We've been sold on that when Scott Perry and B.J. Armstrong and Paul Johnson and those people down there, they're going to be able to set their face and put a direction to where this team is going. For me, we'll find that out because I think the very first move, whatever it is, if it's a trade, if it's someone has to go sit down on the bench and let Neek or Max or somebody else cook, the first question that's going to come from or should come from the media is, well, whose decision was it?
Yeah. Yep.
And
it
I
always
think
is.
that's what we're really going to start to ask around here in Sacramento is new coach, new front office, same ownership group.
Yep.
We know the way things have been pointed here in Sacramento. So once the going gets tough, because it is, all teams have a lull. We just saw the Dodgers who made it to the World Series. They had a couple of lulls. What's going to happen when the first move is made, and who's going to answer up to that question? And to bring up what we were talking about yesterday, that's why in the conversation I said the Kings need to move completely together.
Yeah.
They all have to be intertwined. Front office, ownership group, staff, PR, and everything else. I'll be honest, I don't know if Kings fans have seen it that way for a long time here. So once the first move happens, that's my big question of the season is, whatever that move is done, are we going to question who made it, or are we going to be able to say, oh, they all moved in one direction together?
Yep.
That's my big thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, and it's a phenomenal question, and it's something that I think every Kings fan has in the back of their mind, because it's been, to Jay's point, the conversation these past couple of years, more specifically at the end of last year, more specifically bringing in Zach LaVine, was really that pressure point of like, okay, this is not a guy that traditionally you would have thought Monty McNair would bring in. Okay, Mike Brown, or it was Doug Christie at that time. Even Mike Brown preaching defense, preaching a certain kind of mentality. It wasn't clear that Zach LaVine brought that. And I think, to Jay's point, that's just always going to be the question that floats around. And if it's clear that this was, hey, let's just say the Kings bring in Matisse Thybulle because he's just all defense.
Right.
It's very clear that would be positioned as Scott Perry, Doug Christie.
Yes.
That is a defensive.
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. But then the next trade that happened, it's just going to be when does it be the move that starts to question whose decision was this? And
Gotta be on united front.
100%.
That's the key.
Yeah.
100%.
Is this thing united, or is this thing still
Unity
broken
of
up
purpose.
like absolutely.
Unity of purpose, Jay. Come on, we know this.
It's hard to kind
I
of
want
tell.
diversity of thought with unity of purpose.
There we go. And that's hard sometimes, though, when you are getting some of what your final or your past GM and coach wanted, or what their vision was. You can't just like completely turn over a team in 1 year. So you do have remnants of the former staff in upper management, and you're wanting to make it work here, and you're going to try to make it work. And that's obviously Doug Christie's going to do everything he can, but will it work?
Yeah.
And then, like you said, if it doesn't, whose decision was it?
Who's pulling the strings?
Who's pulling the strings?
And absolutely. And it's the blame game. It's what always happens. And like Jay said, it's going to happen at some point. Doesn't matter if things go as good as they possibly can the first 10 games. At some point, there will be some regression. And what happens to this team, to the front office, to all the decision makers, what happens when adversity hits. That has been the problem here, is things were going all well in the Beam Team season, and then 2 years later, your franchise player is gone, your coach is gone, your GM is gone. And so, all is good when it's good, but what happens when it goes bad? Hopefully we won't find out for a while. Yeah. Hopefully we can kick that can down the road for at least a couple months. Coming up next, by the way, Kayla Anderson, Jay Johnson, Other Side of the Glass, doing a great job so far. What should our expectations for this Kings season be, and what truly should define success for this roster? We tell you what some national writers think, and we'll, of course, give you our thoughts coming up next on The Drive, guys. Sactown Sports.
Sunday, the 49ers take on the Texans.
He turns, he gives Christian.
Kickoff at 10 a.m.
The 49ers play here.
A touchdown.
Put
it away.
Sactown Sports, 1140.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
In San Diego, kids are standing up against big tobacco.
We are here to discuss the urgent issue of vapes being sold near schools and other places where people gather.
I was enticed, like so many others my age, and this is exactly how the tobacco market was trying to get me to react, and I was completely unaware.
Today, over 100 California communities restrict tobacco sales near youth spaces, like schools and parks. Learn how these teens and other Californians are beating big tobacco at undo.org.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The excitement of the game is here, and so are the model year-end savings at Stockton Honda, the best Honda dealer in Northern California. Score big with low payments, more for your trade, and a huge selection. Don't wait. The clock is ticking at StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
There's always more Kings talk to discuss.
And we got you covered. It's the Drive Guys.
Drive Guys bringing you all the way up to Sacramento Kings basketball, 7 o'clock. You got, You got game night at 5:30, Kings pregame starting at 6:30, and of course G-Man tipping off at 7 o'clock from Phoenix. Joining me today, Kayla Anderson. I'm Chris Watkins. Jay Johnson on the other side of the glass. And for those not watching us on YouTube, first off, you should be. It's where you get to look at us and just get a better experience with the show. But you're also missing Kayla Anderson rocking her Seattle Mariners sweatshirt, of course.
Hey, I'm loyal. What can I say?
You are loyal. Yeah, exactly. You were telling me about your Seattle fandom even, before they were, I think the playoffs had just started and you and I were talking about your Seattle fandom. So, yes, definitely would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to your Mariners. And I'll, of course, just kind of give you a moment to talk about the season because I'd imagine this had to have been a season of dreams besides actually kind of getting to hoist the trophy.
It was, and we came so close to making it to our first ever World Series. I thought it was cool, though. I was actually traveling on my way back when Game 7 was being played. So I was watching it on the Southwest app, the game, and I was with a friend of mine. And when we got off the plane, we were scrambling because we were trying to get it on our phones because we had lost the Southwest Wi-Fi. There was a bar right there, and there was just tons of people surrounding it, and it's when Springer obviously hits. Yeah,
so you got off the plane at the worst moment for
story
you.
Of the one.
Exactly, changes the whole theme of the game at that point. And it was cool though to hear. That was not cool, but it was cool to hear all the people that weren't even true Mariners fans were like, they were so disappointed because they knew at that point it was probably going to be over. But there was a lot of people rooting for the Mariners that I'd even think would root for the Mariners. But it was just something different, I guess, for people to maybe not have to root for the LA Dodgers if the Mariners had gotten to something like this.
Yeah, no comment on that one.
The underdogs. But it's okay. Toronto Blue Jays, good team.
Yeah. Not a front runner. It's not a Yankee. It's not even like a Red Sox or something where it's a little bit like, okay, we've been here, done this.
Yeah, they got Vlad Guerrero Jr., which how can you not love a guy like that?
Vladdy. Come on.
Like, he's awesome, and I've enjoyed watching him mature as a player, and we all know the history because of his dad and stuff. So I'm actually happy. If it was any other team, I'm happy the Blue Jays are going. Yeah. I was just, at that point, it was disappointing, but heck of a season. Can't take away from that. So it was fun.
Two great fan bases. It was great, for as crushing as the moment was, it was still like another great, huge home run moment for that city of Toronto. Obviously, the Joey Bats moment, like that has lived in infamy, or it's lived in fame ever since. Having another moment like that in that city was pretty cool. It was very unfortunate at the expense of the Mariners. They, of course, had an incredible season, a really fun season, and I think definitely caught the hearts of a lot of people. It felt like, a lot of people were rooting for the Mariners to kind of get over the hump there. Would have been their first World Series appearance.
Ever World Series
Would
appearance.
have been all 30 teams finally making the World Series as well. So, a lot of people, I think.
We just got to wait, Chris. We got to wait.
Yeah, it's all right.
It is what it is.
Now we got to wait for the Dodgers to hoist the trophy in a couple weeks. And that'll just be bad times for us all. Hopefully good times tonight, as of course we mentioned the Sacramento Kings tipping off their season in Phoenix against the Suns. Devin Booker and crew, as you mentioned, they have a new head coach over there in Phoenix as well. Of course, Sacramento having their new coach, brand new situations. And I think it just logically makes me think, especially with having to listen to all the radio programs on the station every single day, I always wonder, and it's something that John Wooden talks a lot about in his book of The Pyramid of Success and all of that, not gauging yourself off of others, and of course more taking that from an individual standpoint. You can't compare yourself to others' success. Everybody's kind of running their own race. I think we should use that prism for the Sacramento Kings. Let's not worry about what previous years. Let's maybe just even for this next 5 minutes, let's just live in this world where we are singularly focused on the Kings this year. If we're in Doug Christie's war room and we have a 15-year job, and so we're not that Doug does, but just we are super secure, and so we are just only focused on what we're getting out of this season. I think it's really tough because you have to take emotions out of something like that, but what would you feel like what would you feel like is success for this team this year? If the Kings accomplish X, they should feel happy about, or at least that's the standard that I feel like should be set.
Sure. And I really liked your point, because driving in today, and I was listening to Alan Stiles and obviously Kyle Ledbetter, doing their show, great job, had some guests on. And at some point I thought to myself, though, like, it's hard in this society in general, we compare ourselves to others, but we do compare our sports teams. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to just have fun. That's our escape. At least it's my escape. Is sports, right? It's what I love. And even in the bad moments, it's still an escape. But I think it's hard at the beginning of the season for everyone. We are comparing teams to what other teams have, like watching Oklahoma City last night. Right. Even watching the Houston Rockets, who have new pieces, but the
Kings are not that.
They're not that, guys. And it is what it is. Yeah. So I will say this. Give at least Doug Christie at least a little bit of time, and he deserves to at least figure something out, whether that be they've got to go one direction or the other. This is what he has to work with right now. Yep. And I feel like he's going to do his best to make it work. It might work, it might not work. But I think for this season, whether it goes in this direction or this direction, I think the success part of it would be Doug Christie comes in here and preaches, I want to see the effort. It might not be the individual players defensively being, these great defensive players, but if we see the effort continue to prove on the defensive end, we have to see that get better, right? 100%. We have to see 100%. That get better. If he's preaching that, there's got to be at least a little bit of improvement in it. I say the young guys, some of the younger guys that are on on the team right now, and especially a guy like Nate Clifford, who is obviously a first-round pick for them, continuing to see that development. And at some point, he probably is going to get more minutes. Yeah. And like Jay said, they'll work him in. But how greatly can he improve? Because this is part of the development of some of these young players we're going to have to start seeing. Oklahoma City has done it. Okay?
Yes,
They've drafted really well. I get that point of it. We could go, and list all the players they've drafted, but they've also developed them quite nicely too into who they are. So some of these young players they have currently, let's see if they continue to grow. But I would say win-wise, I think the number's at 30.
I think it's at somewhere near 36 and a half or
36
something
and
like
a half.
that. Yeah.
I mean, I would say, get like 37, 38,
Sure.
and maybe clearly be in the play-in.
Would you even say that if we're going to, again, take the spirit of success is completely relative, should wins even matter?
And that's a really good point, too. And that's why I was saying with just seeing the improvement on the defensive side of the ball,
right.
Just because if that's what he wants his calling card to be,
right.
At some point, you have to see it get better. It's not going to be perfect right out of the gates, and we're going to get frustrated talking about some nights when they're not going to look how they should look. But that has to improve somewhat throughout the season, where we're looking at it and being like, okay, at least they're getting to that point where once they get some of the guys in that are theirs, that they're drafting to specifically be in Doug's system, we can see where it's going.
100%. I think that's almost exactly what Scott Perry would answer as well. He's been very clear that, he hasn't said playoffs once.
Yeah.
He hasn't said play in one. He has not put any sort of mandate like that out there. I think he would say, much like you, identity, and getting some sort of development. I think that's probably something that Kings fans would shout more than anything is, we want to see something for our future. We don't, honestly, I don't know how many Kings fans really even care about the present. I think they are way more concerned with what we're set up for these next couple of years. And so I don't think I could have said it any better, and I think Scott Perry's been saying exactly what you've been saying all summer long. Can we get an identity by the end of the year? And do we have a better picture of Keon Ellis, of Keegan Murray, Nate Clifford, Maxime Reynaud, all of these guys? Are we a step closer to figuring out what this thing's going to look like maybe 2 or 3 years from now? Coming up next, we're going to continue, of course, to get you ready for Kings opening night. We're going to talk about what potentially the biggest issue might be for this team, who should start tonight, and, of course, much, much more. You're listening to The Drive, guys, right here at Sactown Sports.
Talking to you about my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Now, they're upgrading their offerings to you to include plumbing, bringing that same expertise and experience into the plumbing space. They're no longer just heat and air. They're now your American Energy home pros. You've heard me talk about them for years as your second opinion partner. Now you can still get a second opinion on any HVAC service or replacement, but now you can also get a second opinion on any of your plumbing services. And when you really think about it, how do we know how much it's supposed to cost? At the very least, you'll know you're in the ballpark, and I can all but guarantee you they'll beat the price. They'll come out for free. They'll give you a second opinion. And all you got to do is give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
When I was
was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
The Sactown Sports 49ers Report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. San Francisco gets a huge win on Sunday night, beating Atlanta 20-10 to improve to 5-2 on the year. A historic night for Christian McCaffrey. 201 yards of total offense, 129 on the ground, 72 receiving, and a pair of touchdowns. San Francisco next in action at Houston on Sunday. You can catch all the action beginning at 9 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins. Ready to pregame for your next big arena event? Head to Beach Hut Deli, a Sacramento tradition for over 40 years where aloha is served daily. Located just steps from the arena, whether it's game day or a concert night, it's the perfect spot to gather with friends and enjoy amazing sandwiches. Planning a bigger get-together? Beach Hut Deli offers endless catering options to bring those fresh, delicious flavors to your next party or event. Beach Hut Deli. Good vibes, great food, and epic times await.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports 1140.
Like the beam for Sacramento Kings. We the beam team, ayy. Like the beam for Sacramento Kings. Like the beam. Like the beam for Sacramento Kings. We the beam team, ayy. Like the beam for Sacramento Kings. Like the
Sacramento Kings, Sacramento King. The mob got the dub, kinda like the beam. Gray, purple, and black, looking super clean. D Fox to Oxford and HB. Keegan Murray. Shooting threes like his last name Curry. Throwing blows like a Mayweather flurry.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Yes, sir. Sacramento Kings opening night. They tip off at 7 o'clock tonight in Phoenix against those Suns. Song is getting me ready for the game. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
I like that.
Gonna be gonna be a good fight tonight. I think it's unfortunately a matchup of two fairly similar tiered teams in the Western Conference. Obviously, not like we mentioned earlier. This is not the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is not the even Houston Rockets, who looked phenomenal last night. These two teams that are playing tonight are not necessarily in that top tier of the Western Conference. And so I think it will at the very least be a very competitive game tonight. I think it's, especially for a Kings opener, probably about as safe as you can feel. I think the fact that they then play their home opener on Wednesday against Utah, another really good blessing that they should take and run with. But absolutely. When it's opening night, like we said to start the show, everybody's feeling good, right? Everybody's 0-0. Everybody's feeling positive. All the optimism in the world. The reality of the season hasn't crushed their hopes and dreams yet, as which I would expect to happen with Phoenix. You mentioned how different they look. 10 different players on the Phoenix side. We did the math earlier. Yeah. 9 guys new for the Kings, so it might get a little sloppy at points tonight. Just two teams who are trying to still kind of work through the kinks of the offense and maybe trying to get some chemistry for their new squad. So I don't really have many expectations in terms of what we're going to see in terms of the offense that's going to be ran. I think we've seen a lot of different kinds of styles of offense throughout the years, even just in this Domantas Sabonis era here in Sacramento. So in terms of like things that I would guarantee to see tonight. It's really tough without Sabonis being there. That would have been just an easy, that guy's going to get a double-double.
Yep.
He's going to have impact against Phoenix, who doesn't really have any big-name bigs.
They've added a little at that center
For
spot,
sure.
but it's nothing like It's
not a Domantas Sabonis level guy. I mean,
No.
it's what they drafted Malawak, I believe, in the first round. I want to say that was a top 10 pick. They bring in Nick Richards, who is just a perennial backup guy, but can get you some numbers. And then I want to say they have Yusuf Nurkic as well as their other big, and he's just been one of my least favorite bigs in the NBA. So, again, we can talk about that element of things. Obviously, no Domantas Sabonis in the game tonight for Sacramento. What kind of impact will that have? The Kings, we don't know what direction they're even really leaning in that capacity. We've seen, I think, Drew Eubanks, if I'm not mistaken, started the final preseason game for the Kings in a scrimmage that they held earlier in the week that they allowed the media to kind of peek in on. I want to say Drew Eubanks was starting in that setting as well, so feels safe to say that's probably where they're leaning. I don't think we have a good lean on where they're going for the Keegan Murray spot. And I think that's, again, kind of been the larger conversation about the construction of the roster.
And I think that's what everybody is trying to guess. And I was actually interested to see what your guess would be for that, because
your
clearly,
guess is as good as mine.
I mean, the depth at that spot is not.
It's not.
It's
not.
It's just
not.
Is that a thing?
It is
it's
not
just
a thing.
Not.
No, it's actually not a thing. And that's the crazy thing is, like, it's not even as if we're talking about, we could play that player. I just don't think they're it's just there's nobody who actually does play that position. Anybody that the Kings would be putting in that power forward position, I believe, isn't necessarily naturally that position. You scoot up a DeMar DeRozan to the 4. I think this show has done a great job of specifically outlining just why that doesn't work. Jay specifically, again, has done a great job of outlining why he doesn't think DeMar at the 4 would work. Nick Clifford, we just talked about if you are going to insert him into wherever, into that 4 spot, into just the starting lineup in general, what might be some of the struggles there. Isaac Jones is maybe the guy you would say, but he's sick, and so he won't be going tonight. Maxime Reynaud, almost double the conversation for a Nick Clifford, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a lot of people pushing for Maxime Reynaud.
But he's still a little bit fresh.
Very green to me. Like, I see the vision. I think maybe, hopefully by the end of the year, he can be an impact rotation
development
guy.
part we were talking about.
I see a guy like Quentin Post for the Warriors, and I say, I could see if Quentin Post can have that level of impact, granted, different teams, different situations, different cultures. I could see how Maxime Reynaud could figure out how to be an NBA rotational guy by the end of the year. Again, we're talking about game 1. I think we kind of have to put one foot in front of the other first. And so, it just to me feels like there's not really a natural good answer there. And so for that,
there's like, what do you
Dario
have for
Saric.
us, Doug? Yeah, it is. It's Saric. Yeah.
To me, that's the guy that I guess
now.
they're probably going to go with. I just don't think that they like the idea of putting DeMar at the 4. I think I did hear Whitey make a really good point yesterday about DeMar in the struggle of he just can't defend anybody. And when he said it,
it's not a secret, right?
I did think it was a little harsh, and then he really broke it down, and it's name me the position. I mean, he's not guarding point guards, obviously, just the on-ball speed, way too much for a guy at that age. 2s, you can make the same argument. Think of even just as simple as who on the Kings would you want DeMar DeRozan to guard? I don't really think there's a good answer for that. If you say a Zach LaVine, like Zach LaVine is so fast, so athletic still, he just can't stay in front of him. Keegan Murray, I would think Keegan is maybe a good answer because he's not like lightning fast, but even then, way more athletic, way more spry, way younger, probably can leap more than him, and is just taller than him also.
Exactly. The height part of it.
I think the bigger thing is there's just not a clear answer, and so it's definitely something to watch tonight. It's not as if Phoenix it has guys that can capitalize it. Not going against the Giannis Antetokounmpo or anything tonight.
Thank goodness it's not tonight.
No Kevin Durant's tonight or anything like that. Still have a Devin Booker to deal with. But I think in terms of teams that can kill the Kings for their injury woes right now, I don't necessarily think Phoenix is one of those teams that I would circle and say this is going to be a problem tonight.
And that's why you were saying like the first 2 games out of the gates for the Sacramento Kings, it might be a blessing in disguise. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, book it, they're going to win this game. Like, they still have to go out there and they've got to play a good game. I mean, they got to execute. And especially, Chris, when it comes to hitting their shots. This is something, again, in the preseason. What were we doing?
I don't know what it is.
What was going on? I went to the game that they were here playing. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Clippers.
I know. I heard it was great time, huh?
Oh,
great time.
My goodness. Not only did Sabonis injure his hamstring, but they couldn't make a shot.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
And I was like, what am I being introduced to at this point? By the way, Arena was freaking awesome.
Love to hear it.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved, even in a preseason game, I felt the energy from the Sacramento Kings fans. I thought the arena was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Good. The whole thing was great, and it was a preseason game, so that's nothing like a real game.
And a bad preseason game.
And
at
a bad
that.
preseason game at that. But I will say, like, they have got to hit their shots tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to do anything, it's going to be scoring points tonight, and they've got to make sure that they get off and are making these shots, because that's contagious too, in my opinion.
100%.
I really think it is.
Definitely. Oh yeah, you see the ball having energy.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that. You swing the ball, you make the right pass. All of a sudden, it's crazy how shots all of a sudden start going in. And I think in more so than in any sport, it feels like momentum is huge in basketball. Yep. Riding the runs. Of course, they say it's a game of runs. But
it is.
I think the big thing to what you just said as well is, and it showed up in the preseason a ton, you don't hit shots, and Doug talked about it endlessly. It can affect how you play.
Yes.
And that's the big thing with this Kings team, specifically starting off the season, why it might sound simple. Hey, one team needs to make shots. They need to stop the other team from making their shots.
Yeah.
It is a simple game.
It sounds simple, right?
It is a very simple game at the end of the day. But the problem is the Kings don't make their shots, and then all of a sudden it really starts to show that they're not a defensive-minded team, because it's much like we can just bring it to football, right? Like, hey, you run the ball, it sets up the pass. Well, I mean, if you can't pass, then it's you get the point. And so, yeah, I think the Kings just have to figure out how to win in different ways. You know, you can't just win scoring
like
130 points every single week. You have to find ways to, hey, this week we're going to run the ball. Right. Hey, this week, the Niners are a good example for resilience, 100%. No Domantas Sabonis, no Keegan Murray. It doesn't matter. You guys have to still show up and be professionals and play your hearts out, because you give yourself a chance. And I think the biggest thing, is 100%. They cannot let their shots dictate their play. And I think it's something Doug has obviously been preaching with the defensive end, the defensive mentality of things. We know these guys aren't individually great defenders for the most part.
Yep.
Coming together as a group, coming together as a unit to play team defense, but also just to buy in on that end. And if you aren't going to be the best defense in the NBA, can you at least try and be top 15, be in the top half? No one's saying be elite.
Try to move up. Yeah, like move it up a little bit. It's going to take a little time to get that full Doug Christie identity in effect, but you got to start somewhere. And if they really buy into Doug Christie like they're saying they do, and the stuff we're hearing, then the players got to execute it. Like, I know it sounds simple and go out there and do it yourself, Caleb, but like that has to be the mindset of these guys, whether they're veterans or they're newer players, because that's how Doug Christie's going to stay the coach here too.
Yeah, no, 100%. Jay, I know you've obviously been watching a ton of the preseason. What are your thoughts?
Actually not.
I know. I had a feeling. I said it, and then I was like, Jay specifically, I know, actually hasn't watched any. One of those where, as I said it, I was like, yeah.
Dude,
Jay.
I went to the one game.
You had to be forced to go to the game.
Yeah, I went to the Clippers game, and shouts out to the fam. They gave me some tickets courtside, so I was like, I'll go to the game. But I always have what Kayla says, as a Sacramento Kings fan, I will always, to the end of end, scream from the top of my lungs. And Chris, you definitely can attest to this. It is beautiful that we still have the G1C. We have the G1C. And, there was a point in time, even when I was living in L.A., and I just felt like I was going to cry because I didn't know we were going to have the G1C. But
9 years now, right, for G1C, I think? I think
10.
Is it 10?
Yeah. It's 10. And so
That's crazy.
It doesn't feel that way, though.
No.
Wild.
No, not at all.
Doesn't feel
And it
that
doesn't
way.
look like it. That was my first time in there.
Yeah.
Like, this is nice.
Yeah, it's one of the, I've had the opportunity, I think I've been in close to about 23, 4-ish or something. I haven't done Little Caesars. I haven't got up to the Bucks.
Okay.
You know, there's a few new joints I haven't been able to get to. Quietly as kept, I've never been to Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
which
that's
is
a
crazy.
newer one. I think.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's older, but they've done some remodeling.
Yes.
But it is a cool. I'll give it this. It's a cool arena. It's pretty quaint. And like it kind of goes down, so
Yes,
it can
to the
get
ground, right, yeah.
pretty loud,
Really?
right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For whatever reason, but G1C is definitely top 3 in my mind. It truly is. There's not unlike the dental office down in San Francisco.
I love that. How you call it the dental office.
There's really not a bad seat, especially if you're blessed to be in 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're in the 100 section, you're good.
Money.
You're good. Now, again, upstairs, that's a different situation because you got to, it gets a little steep up
Yeah,
there.
that's the problem.
Yeah. It's like, a little steep. But beyond that, to kick back over to the preseason, I'll say this. I truly think, and Coach Christie talked about it, he said it probably 36 times. C-Dub, I don't know how many times you were down at practice, and Coach Christie kept talking about it. Don't read nothing in
Yeah.
Don't read much
Please
into this.
don't.
Don't
Yeah.
read into
Yeah.
the moves. Don't read into time, the minutes, who's playing where, how. And you almost kind of take a step back and say, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't really make that much sense. But coming and stemming from the season that we saw last year to where they are now, I looked at it as a fact of, I think he was truly still testing out things.
Sure.
And unfortunately, Domas got hurt, and of course, Keegan got hurt. So he definitely had to experiment there. It's going to be interesting to take from what we've seen from the preseason to now all of a sudden flip the switch.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I feel. And that's my lack of watching that much preseason, of course.
You didn't
But
miss
also, right, well, that's what I was told. That's why I didn't.
Smart move.
Plus, the flip of the fact that Domas is not here. We know Schroeder's dealing with a sore ankle. Right. We know Keegan's not going to play. So I'm almost, as much as it counts today, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of like
it's a rev up.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're still on that. They're not quite at 60, right?
No.
They're on the process of 0 to 60, and we'll see 2.5, or is it going to be 4? Or is it
what's that engine like? Is it
Exactly.
turbo?
Exactly.
Yeah, you got a 4-banger under the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. But unfortunately, as you guys have talked about, it counts now.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have Phoenix, who's supposed to be at the bottom.
Yep.
Then you have Utah, who we all know is expected.
They will be at the bottom.
Yes. Even Danny Ainge is saying we're going to be at the bottom.
Better
it is
be
what
at
it
the
is.
Right. And if we're getting any type of success, we're trading away some people to make sure we're at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of need these two, don't you?
It's
I
weird.
think so.
It is really weird to call.
Right?
You won't call
Yeah.
them must wins, but whatever the step below must win, the Kings are already there 2 games into the season. We're not even. We're still 4 hours before tip off, and I think we can say
we're like, this is a must win.
If you don't win these ones,
one
it's
is.
tough to have belief.
Sure.
But I 100% hear what Jay's saying, and I think DeMar DeRozan specifically is somebody who, when you talk about that switch being flipped,
Yeah.
he's the one where that'll be the real indicator. Because preseason,
You cannot
he
get
was
it.
sleepwalking.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I agree.
I don't blame him. Year 17, like all the reasons why, but the Kings need him to be a guy, and so. I mean, Jay, do you have any thoughts specifically about the starting lineup too, like Keegan and Domas being replaced?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I was going to say fellas. I'm so used to saying fellas. You know?
No, that's all right.
No, it's not all right. You got to be on the P's and Q's. You got to be
Drive people.
Yeah, my peoples, my family. You know, normally I say fam.
Fam.
So, yeah, I don't know. I truly don't. I don't know what to think about it because there's just a lack of height. There's a lack of, a lack of people that are 6'6" and above on this roster that are proven, who have shown that they're NBA players. I think Dylan Cardwell is going to be a decent defender.
I do too.
I'm not exactly sure what he turns out on the offense. Hopefully he's blessed to really, gain some steam and work on some game, and maybe he's just a defensive stalwart.
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't see
DeAndre
that many
Jordan
of
made a
those.
lot of money doing that.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Dallenberg ran from cup to cup and
100%,
played defense. You know, there's some guys out there. I'm just not sure if they're in the league that much anymore.
Right.
Because you got to be able to shoot it, right?
Right.
We've seen so many of the big guys. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I expect to see Sarge there.
Yeah.
At the 4, just because he's not vertically inclined, And so I think he'll be there, but I don't think he's going to be there for too long.
It's funny, too, real quick, because you were mentioning, like, that it's just not a big lineup, however you look at it right now.
Yeah.
Which is so opposite of last night and opening night, where we have the Houston Rockets,
like
and it's
6'11".
it's like the tallest starting lineup since like 1970.
Can we just not play Houston this year? Also, by the way, like
and
that's
I'm
going to be a
there's
nightmare.
just these lanky guys, like Kevin Durant, like seeing him at
shooting guard. It's like, what's
I'm like,
happening,
this is
guys?
so
What is going
weird.
on?
It was wild, and then for you to say that, I'm imagining that just in my head.
There's going to be a couple teams that are just nightmare matchups for the Kings this year, and there's just going to be literally nothing they can do.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: we had Eddie Johnson on yesterday.
Yeah.
Who was also, NBA Sirius Radio. He also is the Suns color color analyst.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he talked about having 3 7-footers on this roster.
Man.
Already. And so when you really see, because you got Mark Williams, of course.
That's right.
Malawach, as they call man. They call Malawach man. And so when you look at that, Mark is going to get the start.
Yeah.
Right? And then man will be behind him. And then you got Ryan Dunn, who's got a little bit of height to him.
Yeah, he's got some.
Nigel Hayes-Davis as well, Nick Richards. So you look at this roster when it comes to Phoenix, because now we're on the daily grind.
Yep.
Now we're starting to look today, and I look ahead to Utah. Now you're starting to look at the depth of some of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really look at the front court of Phoenix, it kind of shows you like, dang, we are a little short.
Sure. And it's funny, coming in here covering the NBA now, and like what short is, in a roster, and it's
true.
like, okay, this is definitely smaller when you're seeing, like he just listed, and we saw with the Rockets, and that's the extreme of extremes.
Of course.
But it will be interesting with some of those matchups.
It's really
no
weird.
doubt about it.
I say the Kings, they aren't necessarily small, because it's not as if like at point guard they're running, 6-footers or something.
Sure,
like they actually have pretty tall guards.
Mm-hmm.
They just aren't tall. Like they don't have the height. And so it's a weird, like, I wouldn't say they're small, but they're just not tall.
Yeah.
And so, it's really
It's the
showing
wingspan.
It's the wingspan. It's the wing position in general. Like and that's definitely the thing that shines the most with Keegan being out. It's just they don't have anyone who plays forward, who truly plays that forward position, power forward or small forward. Like Doug McDermott is maybe somebody that makes a little bit of sense, but his skill set is just not one that you would want him banging around with some forwards. And so, it definitely shines a bright light on how this roster is maybe not perfectly built, but also, again, to the point that we've been making, it's also very unfinished. And so I think that's maybe the thing where, last season felt like 3 different seasons in one. Maybe, 30, 40 games in, we go back and look at this opening roster and say, it is crazy that we started the season this mismatched, and then again by January, post-trade deadline in February, we look at the roster and it just makes more sense, or it's just 1 or 2 pieces slide out or slide in, and all of a sudden things just fit a whole lot better. So it's pretty unfortunate. I think Jay and Kayla did a great job of kind of outlining why there might be some problems, more specifically with the top end height tonight in Phoenix. With those 7-footers, man, that is something that it will be interesting to see how the Kings deal with that. Will we maybe see a Dylan Cardwell out there, a Maxime Reynaud, a name that we just don't anticipate? Daquan Plowden, as I kind of say, like nobody really fits that forward wing role. Daquan Plowden, I think we just don't really expect much from this season, but he is, if anybody is a forward on this team, maybe he ends up getting some minutes tonight. So that is the excitement of opening night, is you just really have no idea what you're going to see. You might get a double overtime game. Who knows?
Heck, you might.
Hopefully we don't. I don't think I have the stamina for that. That would just that's just not how I want to start my opening night. I'd rather it be a nice, comfortable win. Everybody looks good, and we can coast into Friday with all the good feelings for the home opener at Golden One Center, which we all know is just going to be it's going to be incredible.
It's going to be cool.
Can't wait. Oh my goodness, especially if they get the win tonight. I think all of the talk everyone had all summer long about we don't love this team or whatever. Come on, Kings. The one thing I know about Kings fans is they show up and they show out. And Friday, I'm expecting nothing but amazing things. And if I'm not mistaken, we got a Laker game this weekend too, don't we? Kings Lakers on Sunday.
There is.
So come on. I mean, we are in full swing.
I got a question for you guys when we come back about these games, real fast. Just a personal question.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I need a little assistance.
Okay.
Oh, and there is Jay giving me the assistance
I know.
with the tease there. If that doesn't get you excited for our next segment, I don't know what potentially would. So we're going to get to all things that Jay wonders about for our next segment right here on The Drive, guys, Sactown Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
Touchdown 49ers! Every game on your #1 sports station. Don't miss the action on your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration. The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is offering a comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value for just $99. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends November 30th. Call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
This immediately made me think, and Kayla, I would love your input on
Okay.
this. Who has the most insane fan base? Like, if you were to, like, who do you not, like, of course there's the Beehive. I think Taylor Swift's Hive is definitely, I know Jay can speak to the Nicki Minaj Hive online. Might take the cake for at least most ruthless.
You got to get it right. The bars, man.
Please let me get it right. Please let me get it right.
They're coming for
because
you.
I literally want zero of that smoke. But it just, when I hear Nicki Minaj, I instantly just think of all of the insane fans that she has online. And that to me is I don't know why her specifically, but it just feels like that's the group that I do not want to be on the other side.
I would not be on the bad side.
The Beehive allegedly will tear down your whole career if you say anything wrong about Beyonce. They will dox you. They will find out where your grandma lives, where your cousins stay, and where they work. And I don't want any of that.
You just don't say anything at all, Chris, and you'll be in a great
spot. That's
why.
I just stay out of it.
Just like kind of Westbrook, lovers. Like if you say something bad about Westbrook, baby, you better be prepared to be attacked.
I will say, shout out Russell Westbrook for that reason. Russell Westbrook, I tweeted out a video of Russ. I think it was him talking to the rookies.
Yeah.
I've never gotten more followers from something in my life, and I think yesterday Matt George actually said, no, actually it was Frankie. Shout out Frankie Cardicelli with this fact. Russell Westbrook, the third most followed basketball player in the NBA. LeBron's Steph, Russ.
That's
Russ number 3.
Crazy. Good
Makes
for
sense.
Wes.
So, we're
in
every single piece of content, we're hashtagging Russell Westbrook.
Let's go.
You should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, get those followers up, baby.
So, I have thought about this because, unless Russ comes out here and does this thing, and I hope he truly does, he's probably a one-year guy, right?
Yeah.
In the Kings uniform.
So. Yep.
Knowing that, a Russ jersey is only good for one calendar year.
Right.
Yep.
Do you spring and hit him for $150?
Hey, what if it's like, I guess if it's a gift, right? Like if you get it as a gift.
$150.
Oh, yeah, then it's not your paper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But out of your own pocket.
Honestly.
It's the Vince Carter situation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. It's the VC.
It lives forever.
Yeah.
For sure. Is
Sure.
the other side of it. You're past all the baggage of it. It's just all like, hey, man, it's just, you play for the team.
Yeah.
I think I will say, from a marketing perspective, 18 wasn't the right move. Like 18's not selling any jerseys for me. Like if he's, it's just an ugly number for one. I don't know if there's any science behind that.
One.
But also, it's just like it's not a Russ number. It's not.
Sure.
It really is like a very. It's just a very washed jersey. I like it is very of the Shaq with the Celtics and all that stuff. Like it just feels very removed from the rest of Russell Westbrook's career. But no, to answer, I probably wouldn't drop the 150. But the spirit of it, I've thought about. Even with DeMar last year, I had to consider this is pretty crazy that somebody of this caliber.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten it confirmed, but I think Russ is the only MVP to ever play for the Kings, with the exception of Oscar Robertson.
You had. Yeah.
Still haven't gotten it confirmed. People are ghosting me.
Sounds like
I'm
it might
trying
be
to get to the bottom of it. But yeah, I think it more just speaks again to you don't really think about the level of impact. And Drew Eubanks, I'm sure you guys played some of the audio from earlier this week of just everybody talking about, as the kids would say, the aura that Russ has. Literally walking in the building and guys just saying it feels different. Like him having, I'll share, I saw them during the scrums, the video I got of Russ talking with the rookies. Russ is just having a good time, and he's like, I think Neek and Maxime were trying to, have a friendly competition. Who knows if they laid something down or whatever. It was a free throw competition. And all I can hear, because the press scrum is going on right next to me, is Russ saying, I don't like to lose. Just so y'all know, I don't like to lose. And, I just think that edge and to watch Maxime and Neek's response, their facial reaction, kind of like ear to ear. And, it just kind of was a moment where I realized this is why Russell Westbrook is in this building. If not for Jay, hopefully he does his thing. Hopefully he can truly look like Russ of old or have some moments that build his legacy. But at the end of the day, I think the Kings brought him in to be in the building and
for sure.
really bring some lack of a better term, credibility and just, a really, really good resource into the building.
Yeah. I loved how you said the rookie's eyes got bright, because no matter where Westbrook is in his career at this point, they look at him as one of the best,
yes,
right?
100%.
And for them to be on the court with them, him practicing or in a game, like, they're going to bring up their level.
Yes.
Don't even talk about the veterans. The veterans know what they're playing with. I mean, they've been in the league, some of these guys, about the same time that Russell Westbrook has. But I do think you're right on that. And it is weird to think sometimes that a guy comes in, he's here right away, and, everybody's just, it's like, we're just going to feed off that energy. But that's how special of a player Westbrook has been, and that he still is going to give that effort on any given night, and he expects that. So I think it's great that you have that coming in.
There are people in the world, and you started this conversation, this segment, talking about Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
And I'll swing it back into the sports of things. There are athletes, when they walk into an arena, doesn't matter who it is, you always taking a look.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if another athlete is in the building, they're going to dap him up, shaking hand, show respect to the fam.
Your guy, Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. It doesn't matter who you are. Russell Westbrook is one of those guys. And if not for what he's done on the court, it's what he's done in the culture side of things too. And so he's just one of those guys that he was born at the proper time with social network and social media, that people are intertwined in what he's doing throughout his life. No doubt about it. Russell Westbrook is just like, as you said, we had the opportunity, C-Dub, when VC was here, when Vince was here, and I've been blessed to be around a lot of people. Vince
Vince is different.
You dap up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vince, what's up, big time? What is going on? He is the type of person where you're like, you know what? Oh, I need you to sign my shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
He's that type of dude.
The exact kind of I normally don't do this, but that is the kind of caliber of guys that they're bringing in.
That's who Russ is, man.
Yeah. No, he is a super, he is the your grandma might hit you up and say, like, Russell, like, everybody knows who Russell Westbrook is. And I think that part of it too is absolutely big for this franchise, this organization. And I just hope Russ can bring some of that. I haven't even thought about the fashion element of it either.
That's what I first, when I'm a fashion girl, right?
Okay.
So I'm sports first and foremost my whole life, but right under that is fashion. And I know you can't tell because I come in here looking like a scrub. But if you were to see me in real life, I like kind of doing different things with fashion, kind of testing some things out. I remember just the Thunder days of Westbrook and just saying that is risky, but you can pull that off, man. Like Westbrook,
that construction worker uniform,
yes, like
looks
you can
great
pull
on
that
you.
off, and only so many, to Jay's point, people can just have that aura about them where it's like, that works for you, man. I respect. Any other person, I'd be like, what the heck is that?
What gives you what gives you the permission to wear that outfit?
Yeah, but with Westbrook, he's just there is something different about him as a player. Just the way he is, he's unapologetic.
Yeah,
he is who he is.
Gosh, yeah,
and I respect it. I gotta respect it.
100%. Yeah, dude is very unapologetically him in all aspects of life. And Jay, I'm thinking about the tunnel fits of Malik versus Russ. I mean, Malik is Malik is like really stamped down. Like, this is kind of my territory here, and I think there's going to be some fit offs here.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, you know, Malik though, and Kayla, you're 100% right in the form of Russ on a different level.
He is,
no
like,
disrespect to Malik though, but Russ is the type of dude. He wearing, Russ will walk in with a net shirt, and some silver pants and some platforms, and you like, man, what is Russ wearing, man? But he is comfortable.
Yes,
he is fantastic. He is definitely 100% comfortable in his skin and how he moves, and I respect that. I respect people who move how they want to move, albeit even if it's the outsider or the one on the outside looking in. Malik gonna have to step it up.
Yeah,
he is.
Matter of fact, did nobody ask him that during media day?
That's such a good point. I don't think a single
Russ
person
wasn't there yet.
That's true. That's true.
I don't think we've talked to him since, but that's definitely going to have to be at the top of the list there because it's going to be a thing.
Chris, this is your question.
It might have to be. It seriously might have to be because like this is, and they both legitimately do care care about it.
They do.
It's not as
yeah.
if they have,
Yeah.
like to Jay's point, I don't think Russ has a style. He might have somebody who advises him, but I don't I think Russ puts on whatever he wants to put on.
I think so too.
That's the real battle that I'm looking forward to is Malik and Russ just duking it out every single night in the pregame outfits and just everything that's going to come with that. But yeah, Russell Westbrook undoubtedly brings a different level of charisma, a different level of something to this Kings team that I think they desperately kind of didn't realize they need. But I think as came to the building and the longer he stays, I think there's going to be a really big appreciation for the caliber of player that Russell Westbrook is, because, maybe a situation like the Lakers where they're used to having stars coming in and out of the doors, Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, like even guys who are past their prime like Russ was. But here in Sacramento, this is very new. We just listed Vince Carter, which was a big deal when he was maybe in year 20. And that wasn't a good team or anything like that. And I think we still have memories of Vince Carter and still think about the ways in which he impacted the roster. So I'm hoping that Russ has a similar impact and undoubtedly has always been himself. So coming up next, we are going to get into some breaking news from the San Francisco Giants as they name a new manager, a new man in charge. And is it the right way to go? Because it's definitely a way that hasn't been taken before. We talk all about that on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
The Drive Guys, weekdays 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
on Sactown Sports 1140.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics. Schedule a free inspection. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Ready to pregame for your next big arena event? Head to Beach Hut Deli, a Sacramento tradition for over 40 years where aloha is served daily. Located just steps from the arena, whether it's game day or a concert night, it's the perfect spot to gather with friends and enjoy amazing sandwiches. Planning a bigger get-together? Beach Hut Deli offers endless catering options to bring those fresh, delicious flavors to your next party or event. Beach Hut Deli. Good vibes, great food, and epic times await.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Yes. Welcome back into the Drive, guys. Chris Watkins, Kayla Anderson across from me, Jay Johnson on the other side of the glass, bringing you all the way up to game night. That's at 5:30. You got Kings pregame. That's at 6:30. Then you got tip-off with the G-Man, the one and only, kicking off, what is it? I still haven't figured out how many Sacramento Kings season this is. I think this
all
is
of them.
40. Yeah, he's done them all. He's
41.
Done 41.
Incredible.
41 years of Sacramento Kings basketball. Tips off tonight at 7 o'clock in Phoenix. Definitely don't want to miss that one. Again, 7 o'clock tip right here on Sactown Sports 1140. We got Stevie Johnson, former NFL receiver for the Niners, for the Bills, of course, as well. He's coming up in about 15 minutes at 4 o'clock. Don't want to miss that. We're also doing our Kimpton Sawyer giveaway. Ooh. That's potentially the biggest giveaway we've ever done in my time here at the station. You got, a night stay at the Kimpton Sawyer. You got 2 lower-level tickets to Kings games. You got a $200 Revival gift card. We're giving that away after we're done talking with Stevie, so definitely tune into that. And if you want a chance to win, stay tuned for the code word that you got to text in to get your chance to win that incredible prize. Now, the question is, if I could do a little Alan Styles segue here.
Ooh, yeah.
Did the Giants get a winner?
There we go.
Thank you.
I
tried. Hiring a new manager today from the college ranks, which is not something that we have seen before. Someone who has absolutely no experience in the majors. I mean, it comes as a surprise. I think, in the past week or so, people have kind of started to hint at this being a potential hire. I think there was a lot of questions on whether Buster Posey, of course, when Bruce Bochy became available, if he was going to look in that direction. Once he said no to that, okay, well, is he going to go more traditional? Is he going to go with a younger voice? Kayla, I don't know if anybody saw this coming, though, to go to the college ranks and a guy who really has no major league or minor league experience managing or even playing, I think is absolutely, I won't say crazy because that makes it sound like it's just inherently a bad idea, but it's just wild that we got here.
It's different, right? I mean, in Major League Baseball, I'm a big baseball fan, and it's a traditional sport. And obviously, we've had some out-of-the-box hires, some that have worked, some obviously that haven't worked. And with Buster, being a player, a former player, and kind of being a traditionalist more so than not in terms of the game, this is different. And I know that sometimes you can think out of the box and it hits, and it's a home run. No pun intended.
I know.
And sometimes it's a strikeout. And I don't know what to think about this, guys. And I say that because I covered Tony Vitello for the past several seasons down in Tennessee. And on the part that I see this working is it goes to his roots of being a son of a baseball soccer coach in St. Louis, where he grew up, where his dad was a coach for 46 years. So he, under his dad, kind of learned how to be a coach and a mentor and all of those things. And he's young. He's about 47, and then quickly rose to the ranks. When you're in Tennessee and you're playing in the SEC, it's the top of the top. The SEC is different in terms of baseball. And Vanderbilt was their rival for so many years. And Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt, you guys know, they are known for being a factory there. So when Tony started to flip that, and Tony started to continuously beat, the Vanderbilts, and then goes on to win a national championship, a College World Series, I think that's where maybe these MLB teams might be intrigued. And specifically now with the Giants, they see these little things that are like, well, this is how he did it and proved people wrong. And he got that done in the SEC, the best conference. So I can see all those things being like, we want to take a chance on the guy because he can rally guys, but it's the college level. It's still the college level. It's not as many games as they play at the major league level. And it's just different. This is the West Coast. He's from the Midwest and spent a lot of time in the South.
Even from a culture perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely curious as to how this is going to work. And if it works, Buster is going to look brilliant.
Like a genius. He's going to look like an absolute genius.
And if it doesn't, they're going to have to start over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it does really play into what Jay talked about earlier when it comes to Neat Clifford to me too. In the story or the example that he shared, I think definitely fits here as well, where it could just be a completely different game, right? Like just because you were able to manage college personalities or college athletes, like it's just a completely different game when you're talking about grown men who are millionaires who have been here, done that, and you specifically haven't been here and done that. Much again to what Jay talked about with Doug Christie, like. Or just kind of being able to understand what these guys are emotionally going through, especially with how much of a slug that season can be. That's the part where I guess you don't know until you do know, and maybe Buster's just trusting the intangibles of what he can get from an interview. But that's the part where I can't believe that you're willing to go that far out on a limb to say. You must have just been so impressed with the human that he was that you're willing to overlook all of the just very, very real hurdles that I think are along the way. Jay, I would love to get your thoughts on this. I know you're obviously a really big Giants fan. You also spent some time playing college ball as well. So Jay's on the phone, of course, but I just think it's absolutely insane how I just wouldn't have expected Buster to be the one to make this decision. A guy who's a catcher as well, like somebody who you would think.
I mean, that's a natural manager position,
100%,
right? That goes from being a manager on the field.
You see Kurt Suzuki getting hired by the Angels.
Exactly, by the Angels. Yeah. It's, Chris, it's, and the only thing that I can think of is, first of all, I think he can and has blown interviews out of the water. Like that's something where he just,
and
has
that must be true.
Yeah, he has that way about him. I've talked with him several times in interviews and scrums and whatever, and he does have that enthusiasm for the game, the natural, like you get that when you talk to him. And so for Buster to obviously pick up on that, he felt comfortable enough with him going from college to that. But it is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Like I'm now fascinated with this story.
It's going to be incredible to watch. And I mean, I know Giants fans have been very upset with how their two previous managers have operated things and, where things are coming from, front office or the manager itself. And it's just going to be interesting to see how Tony Vitello and Buster Posey work together. Jay, you're off the phone now.
Yeah.
I'd love to get your thoughts on all this.
Yeah, it's super interesting in the form of I'm the guy who always says I don't like the recycled
Same
person.
Here.
Recycled quarterback, the recycled head coach every single time.
Yep.
So for one, as much as I, never give the Giants any love, I'm gonna give the Giants a pat on the back for that. You actually stepped out of the box. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You just give me opportunity to jab and poke at the Giants even more time. So I'm always good with that. But I have to give them kudos in the form of stepping out the box, doing something, as we talked about, being an outlier. They outlied themselves.
Yeah.
If that's even a phrase that you can use. They chose to think out the box.
Yes.
So I'm gonna give them respect and give them a salute for that. Now, if it works, that's yet to be determined, TBD, right? But a baseballer is a baseball lifer.
100%.
I don't really have any quarrels or qualms with the fact that he probably can coach just as good as anyone. But now we're talking about, and here goes the difference. And now we have the NIL, and there are things that are similar to what it is.
Solid point.
But I'm also say this. As much as you're talking to somebody that played in one of the biggest conferences, Big 12, which is now the SEC, you're also talking to somebody that played on plenty of forms of the biggest level when it came to college baseball. It's not the pros.
Yeah.
And as much as you could say, well, that guy is in the NIL or that gal is in the NIL, and even the guys and gals who are making top NIL money, 5, 7, 8, 10. Bryce Underwood's making $12 million over in Michigan. That's through the roof. $12 million is a journeyman sometimes in the MLB. It sounds crazy, but that's a rental. The A's spend $12 million, which is saying a lot when it comes to spending money throughout baseball and what $12 million can get you in the league. I'm telling you, there are people who's making, especially when you're the Giants and you're in the move of Shohei and Aaron Judge and you're talking to guys like that. That's a different. Bryce Harper was a conversation they wanted to have. Willie Adames. Like, we're talking about people who's making $200 million. It's going to take a lot of respect and a lot of know-how to figure that out for Coach T. again, Giants, nothing but love for thinking out the box and doing something different. It doesn't gain you any fans when it comes to the traditionalists of baseball. They want to, call up Dusty.
Yeah.
And I get it. Call up Bruce. Bruce and Dusty is 70, man.
Right.
Ron Washington.
Absolutely.
You
Ron.
throw Bowmel in there to an extent,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
We just had Dusty on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
Dusty's like, and I asked him right here on this show, I said, do you want to come back to coach? He's like, well, I'm still in coaching because I'm coaching WBC, right? Still coaching national.
Mm-hmm.
But you're never out of it. But, man, that's a grind.
It's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
That's a grind. You've went from 50 games to a $162.
Yeah.
With spring training, per diem. Like, there's all kind of different things that you're going to have to worry about now as a professional coach. I wish him the best, meaning him, not so much his team, because I can't stand the damn Giants. But I wish him the best. But, man, he's going to have to prove it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He definitely is.
At least he's single. He has no kids. And he, baseball is his life. So I guess that's what you can say. I guess that will help him out. But like you said, there's nothing like a baseball grind.
No,
there is
that's a lot.
and you know, Jay,
That's I tell people it's the hardest job I've ever had in my life.
Sure.
When you're getting, and now we're talking about, these guys are in the finest of the finest, but it's still a grind. You still get off the plane at 3:00 and you still got to get to the hotel. And albeit, it's the W, the Waldorf Astoria, the Post. I get it. We're not crying about that. But also at the same time, it's 11 o'clock. I'm going to need you to be here. Mm-hmm. And some people don't see the 4 a.m. rub downs. They don't see the, oh, man, what time is my I got to be down there with the trainer at 4:30 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning because I'm a rookie and my ankle hurts. It's part of it. Now, that's different than the coaching, but I'm saying it's definitely a grind. It is a true grind. And the difference of it is when it's all really said and about, the respect factor for a college kid and a professional coach is completely different than it is for a college coach and a professional player.
Sure.
So you reversed it. And that's the difference. Is now, you're a professional coach because you've been hired, you've been given a job. But the professionals, the guys who've been there for 10, 12, 11 years, been in the minors and everything else, what's the perception of Coach T to those guys?
Yeah. Just because you have Buster's cosign doesn't necessarily mean you get the players.
He still has to go out there.
100%. Yeah, and what team is he going to manage? What kind of team is he going to manage? Is it going to be a young team? Is it going to be a veteran team? Is it, is he more fostering an up-and-coming team, or are they trying to compete as soon as next season? I think Giants fans want them to compete.
That's what I say. They expect
as
that.
soon as possible. And it's I love what you said about his personal life because funny enough, I know Giants fans were not very happy with Gabe Kapler and his TikToks of him going to burger joints all around town and stuff. So, I think Giants fans are in a little bit of a confused state of trying to figure out really what they want from a manager as well. And I think that's just in general a question of what is the purpose of a manager in 2025 even. I think all of these questions play into effect, but it's going to be really, really fascinating to see what happens with the San Francisco Giants and their manager situation moving forward. Coming up next, we are going to talk to the only one, Stevie Johnson, about all things NFL. Get in our questions for the former Bills and Niners receiver. We talk to him coming up on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Balsam Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease?
Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Born in 1892 to a socially prominent family, she was the consummate athlete, proficient in golf, tennis, marksmanship, swimming, and car racing. Many considered her the greatest horsewoman of the century. She was a pioneer in the field of golf course development with 3 world-class courses on her resume: the Women's National Golf and Tennis Club, Cypress Point, and Pasatiempo. Working for SFB Morse of Pebble Beach fame led to her second golf course development, which many consider to be the greatest golf course in the world, Cypress Point, where she developed a lifelong friendship and professional relationship with famed architect Alistair McKenzie. Pasatiempo in Santa Cruz was her third development, where she hosted the likes of Bobby Jones, Will Rogers, Babe Saharias, and more. Today, her place is alongside many others in the World Golf Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Marion Hollins, a visionary golf course architect and pioneer of the game. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sactown Sports 1140.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Welcome back to the Drive Guys. As promised, joined
He's just having
by
can
former
we
NFL receiver, current bowler. Come on. Can we get a 200 in here?
Let's get it official. Oh, let me knock this spare out before I...
Come on. Yeah, go ahead. Take care of business. Please. Stevie Johnson is going to wrap up his spare real quick. Please, again, make sure you're watching us on the YouTube to get
He did hit the spare, though, too. He did. I see you big time.
I heard it.
You got to get the full experience over on our Sactown Sports YouTube channel. Stevie Johnson, last week I talked with you with Whitey Gleason, and you promised us you would have some bowling action. We noticed, you got the strikes in the background. And so, yes, Stevie, of course, deliver with a strike. Stevie, thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Man, glad to be on again. I had to be a man of my word.
And that's how you know Stevie was a professional athlete, is because showtime. He knew, there was no doubt he was going to hit the spare and hit it with pressure in the moment. So, Stevie, absolutely wonderful stuff there. Got to ask you, starting off with some Niner stuff, I'm just wondering, as they continue to shock the world, I cannot believe that they are playing as well as they are, especially with Mac Jones running the show. I mean, with Brock kind of in limbo a little bit with his injury, do you kind of feel like the Niners should just run Mac Jones out there until Brock is 100% healthy or Mac maybe starts to show some cracks in the armor?
Absolutely. And I think that's what their plan is. We've seen the instance where they wanted to try to put Brock in, and it kind of didn't flow. Everybody saw it. I'm pretty sure the team felt it, and the fans obviously they saw it in action. We see what Mac is doing. He's getting the ball out fast. He's getting it to his options, and he's sticking to the script as far as not going away from CMC. Feeding McCaffrey, that's the point to getting this offense to sustain drives and keep other opposing offenses off the field, like a Bijan Robinson, who was third in the league in rushing. So, it's pretty good to see what Mac is doing. And then not to mention Robert Saleh's his defense, his strategy, and the aggressiveness on how he's not giving up a cushion. You mix that with competitive guys that understand that they have opportunity to be a star, you got a recipe for success, and that's what we're seeing in the Bay Area.
Yeah, Stevie, and speaking of that defense of Robert Saleh's, they're without some defensive pieces. I mean, we know what they're missing, and in Warner and Bosa, and for them to, take care of business against the Falcons this last weekend, how is he able to have success with having so many big pieces missing?
What I'm going to say is being a player's coach. When you have a player's coach, that means your players are out there being comfortable. They're not thinking about whether they'll make a mistake and what's going to happen if I don't. They got a coach that's amped up. He's wired. We see how he is, and he puts that on the defense to play like that. So it's easy for a defense to be short men, and if you have a attitude, and a coach that gives you the ability to let that attitude go, then it's easy for defenders to step up. It's more so on the offensive side where you see stagnant, but when you got Mac Jones, he's getting the ball out, so he's not thinking a lot, and it's looking pretty good for the Niners right now.
Joined by Stevie J. Stevie J, man, one of the questions coming into this past week was, of course, getting George Kittle back, and I think we all expected George Kittle to be George Kittle. But with that being said, what was your take? You've been there, you've been on the hash lines. What was your take of George Kittle's game this past weekend?
Yeah, I'm just happy to see him out there. At the end of the day, we don't want to see anybody injured, and I'm sure opposing teams don't want to go up against teams that's not as strong as they can. But to see him out there is big for the offense, because that's another set of eyes, maybe a few pair of eyes, because how good Kittle is. So even though he didn't have the big numbers and things that we're accustomed to, he was still a presence out there. So that's only going to be beneficial for the 49ers going forward, playing against the other teams in the division, like the Seahawks, who was looking pretty good on primetime.
Stevie, I'm curious that we're going to see a couple, or it appears like we're going to see a couple quarterback changes this week with the Jets, and then potentially with the Dolphins in Miami too. I'm just kind of like, can you take us inside a locker room? Like, I don't know how many, of those kind of situations you've been in, but when there is, I guess, quarterback questions, or maybe they are going to make a quarterback change mid-season, what's kind of the locker room like? Because I'd imagine there's there is just factions of like, hey, like, this is my guy. I kind of don't want to see him lose his job. And I'm sure there's a good portion of the locker room that says, much like in Miami, look, if you're going to keep putting us in these situations, we just have to try something else.
Yeah, so let's speak on Miami's.
Yeah.
Miami, I feel like the locker room would be pretty dull, considering the outside interviews and things that their quarterback has put out there. So I would say from a player's perspective is more like business, which I don't want to make that sound bad, because everybody's supposed to handle business.
Sure.
But you need an environment that's fun and loose.
Right.
I don't think that environment is what it needs. So it needs to be shaken up. They need to trade or, let Tua go elsewhere and revamp that whole team. That's what they'll do. The Jets, on the other hand, I feel like that locker room is actually more together. They're with each other. It's just, circumstance, I'm saying. They're going up against teams, and they're getting dominated. They're obviously not moving the ball. And, again, they will have to look for another quarterback. It always starts, with the quarterback. They get the praise, and they go, get that chop if they're not doing their job. So, those two franchises are definitely going to need two new quarterbacks in that building.
Stevie, speaking of quarterbacks, and a quarterback that I think in his rookie season, I don't think it was a shock to anybody, but with C.J. Stroud and what he did with the Houston Texans in that first year. And then in the last, last season we kind of saw him dip a little bit, and then this season we're seeing some struggles with him. The line's not that good. The Niners have Houston this weekend. How do they get to CJ Stroud, and is he did we think too much of him too early?
You know what? No, I think we thought about him as much as we should have, because CJ Stroud is a talented player, and he's been a talented player since high school, being an Elite 11 finalist, and I believe he was a winner. So he's been winning at every level. He came into the league, and he did the same thing. He won, so we gave him his credit. And then he was surrounded by athletes, playmakers, seasoned veterans in a solid defense, which he still somewhat has that solid defense. But right now, the offensive line is not protecting him, and that's where CJ isn't at his best, I say, in my opinion. When he's being forced and pressured and moving around, that's when you're not seeing him at his best, and that's something that the 49ers do well, is put pressure on quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be a long day for CJ coming up.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, Stevie. Pump that realness out there, brother. Joined by Stevie Johnson, former NFL wide receiver, now a family member of the Drive Guys. Right. Stevie, man, one of the questions that I thought, was answered, at least for me and maybe some 49ers fans, is this defense, albeit it's young, meaning the 49ers defense, it could be young. We've missing some players. But as you talked about earlier, Robert Saleh has these guys believing. They truly believe in what they're doing. Is it schemes? Is it they've hit on some of the younger players now that we're, along during the season? Or is it just the overall mentality of what Robert Saleh is bringing? Like, what are you accompanying this to?
Yeah, I would say it's the Saleh mentality, because it's a mix of everything. You got to have like I said, we started off with the players coach.
Right.
Here's something about it. So in high school, that friend of the family might be Zach. Zach's my guy, best man.
Shouts out Z.
He's not a defensive end. He's not the height of a wide receiver, not blazing like that. However, he's one of those guys, and he's down for you no matter what. We had a coach named Coach Nato, and he had one athlete in me, and then we had a bunch of my role players.
Be careful, man. They might be listening, champ. They might be listening.
Yeah, but Coach Nato had the Saleh mentality and had us believing every week that we was gonna win, and he kept it fun. He kept the locker room energized, and we was out there competing. We only won one game that season, but we still had the mentality that we can go. But now we have a guys with that's athletics, as athletes all over the board, and then you combine that with a coach and that spirit that he's got. We're seeing it right now. We're seeing it. I think we're going to see more of it coming up against the Texans.
Stevie, I'm looking at the top receivers in the NFL just by yards, and the one thing that really sticks out is just the youth at receiver. I mean, you have JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba number one in terms of receiving yards. You got Puka Nacua. You could throw George Pickens in there. Emeka Ibuka, of course, having an incredible season in Tampa. I'm just curious, as a former receiver, like what do you think it is that's just allowing, I guess, even like the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chases of the world to have such great impact from day one? It feels like before there was, much like quarterback, like a couple years before you saw guys really jump to the elite level. Now it feels like, again, like Emeka Ibuka, top 10 receiver in year one. Puka Nacua has been that guy since he stepped in the league. Like, what is it that makes these guys able to pop from day one?
A couple things. I'll just put it at two. One, this is an offensive-driven league. Boom. You know what happens when you barely touch a quarterback. They trying to fix that, but we know we want to make points scored and highlights. And then number two, I'm going to credit to the GOATs of the past. These young guys have studied the guys that's still in the league, and Keenan Allen's, Devontae Adams, myself, Chad Ochocinco's, even the OGs, and Rice and Irvins and them. So these guys are putting together tournaments and exclusive training sessions, and these guys are really, when I say these guys, these younger guys, they're attending these classes and they're bringing it to the field. They're showtime, and that's why we're seeing this abundance of young talent leading the league. Not to mention, you pair them up with guys like Andy Dalton, who's, hey, I'm in a position where I can get another contract. I just had success with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. Now I got this young boy in JSN. Let me feed him. And they're falling into the right spots. And that's the same with Jamar Chase. I mean, he's playing with his college quarterback in the NFL. So, that's a huge advantage. Unfortunately, he's injured Burrow right now, but, you're just seeing everything from the off field to on field is just these guys are getting better and better and they're evolving.
Yeah, and obviously the Niners would hope that eventually when they get Ricky Pearsall back from that injury that he can continue to maybe grow and be that guy for them. But right now, they've got Christian McCaffrey, the CMC show, last weekend against the Atlanta Falcons. You got a guy who has 129 yards on the ground. You got 72 yards off of 7 receptions. I mean, he's 8th overall in total yards in terms of receiving in the league. What can this guy what can he not do? And could this be one of the greatest seasons for him if it continues?
Oh, yeah, it's adding up to be because of what he's going against as far as his team being somewhat depleted. A defense that's, we're looking at our 4th string on the defensive line. We got 3 DNs out, so with him doing what he's doing and not taking the impact is amazing for the 49ers, and not to mention other guys stepping in like Kendrick Bourne, Jawan Jennings getting back from his injury. Hughes Check is juice. I mean, he does his thing. And, the team is just, they're feeding off of each other and CMC is leading the way and not taking a lot of impact, which is the best part about it.
As much as it pains me to even ask this question or even speak these people into existence, the Kansas City Chiefs look like they've turned a leaf in some form or fashion, Stevie. Brad, it pains me, dog. You can hear it in my voice. But
yeah.
they doing their 1-2 Dougie, man. They doing their thing. Have they caught the mojo again in your eye?
Yeah, they have. And it's because they've been through the fire early. They was thrown in the mud, already written off, but they were injured, and then they took a loss on prime time, and now they get a running game back. They get their wide receivers back, and now they're clicking at the right time because they've already taken L, so they're as loose as they can be. But I feel like every team is like that right now.
Really?
Aside from the Jets and the Dolphins, but like it's a pretty balanced league for the most part, and. The Niners and the Bills, they got some things that they can evolve on,
right?
But at the same time, they're still feasting at the top of their divisions.
Okay, Stevie, I can't let you go without asking something about the Bills. So coming off of 2 straight losses, and I know they had the bye, you regroup, rejuvenate yourselves. Are you at all worried about them at this point, or is it just one of those? This point of the season, maybe you got to fix a few things.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the latter half of that. They just need to fix a few things.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about them because I feel like they'll definitely get to the playoffs and anything happens in the playoffs. The thing that I am worried about is not the players, it's the coaching. Is Joe Brady going to evolve his offense to move guys around or to enforce them to get the ball out a little bit faster or to feed certain guys like the 49ers are doing with CMC? Feed Cook, feed Khalil. With the defense, I also challenge the defensive coaches on the Bills because they play a soft shell, and we want to see more competitive aggressiveness that people in the Bay Area are seeing with the 49ers. So I'm really concerned about the coaching if they'll switch it up. The players, they're going to go hard all day. That's what I've been seeing each week, win or loss.
Joined by Stevie Johnson. Stevie, I don't think we've had this question, and it popped up today, and it's popped up the last couple of days. And you being from the Bay Area, man, talk about, and you have some things lined up, and hence why this popped in my mind, because we got to make sure we promote that here in the next upcoming weeks here for Super Bowl. Super Bowl is right here in our backyard, man. I'm talking about, it's in your porch and it's in our backyard. So it's just super close. And you being, a stalwart of the Bay Area, man, just speak to what it is. And of course, it was back in 2017, I believe, but you being a part of the media side and what it means for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to be able to network and communicate and vibe with the community from the field to the digital world. Right. And it's a great experience and great opportunity, to rub shoulders. To have it in our backyard is amazing because, it's like we've been walking around these parts and driving around in all these places. We know friends with businesses.
Yeah.
And just to be able to promote them and give them that exposure, considering the NFL's greatest show is coming in February.
Yeah.
We got partnerships with Travis Air Force Base, who do a lot in the community. And we'll be having our military and civilians, aka Celebrity Bowl, and just continue to create, and especially in San Jose area where the game will be played.
Yeah, man, that's big time, bro. Just want to make sure we get that out, of course, and have conversations. Now, look, we got all the business out the way now, brother. Let me see. I see the strobe lights in the back.
Let's go.
Oh,
Game time.
It's romantic.
All right,
you got a romantic back there real fast. I got to see you.
Yeah, look. Let me get the strike before we get out of here.
Okay, man.
Let's
Reset
go.
it up.
This for the squad. This for the squad, man. One love.
I'm paying attention to low lie. Let me see.
You're
You're a little short. You're a little short. You're a little short. What you have right there, man? What is that, an 8? That's an 8 piece?
Let me go to the other side. All
right, so he
Yeah,
did
it's a
hit the strike on the
two-lane.
first pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got 2 lanes.
That's a practice there.
That sound better. You're a little short there. What's that, about 7? I said about 3 up left over there.
It's never no numbers. It's either a strike or a spare. So let me go ahead.
He got nothing, I saw you got about 7 out of the 10 pins.
That looks fun. Oh, here we go. Okay.
So he going back. Oh, he threw the legs. Let's see if he pick up the spare, though.
Yeah.
Look, he ain't pick up the spare on the first lane either, man. It's all good.
Man.
We're going to give him one more shot right here. This for the marbles, baby.
Again,
The
if
pressure.
you are not seeing this, Sactown Sports YouTube.
I know.
Look at Stevie Johnson's bowling
He knocked
alley.
it down. He
It is
picked
a
up the spare on the
beautiful
second
bowling
line.
alley,
Nice.
too.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, that is a top.
Yeah.
All right, he said
top-notch
one more.
bowling.
Let's see if he can hit the strike.
A true athlete. He's like,
exactly.
come on.
Can't leave on a
Yeah.
miss.
Yeah, man. Hey,
He
look,
says
we gonna
cut.
reset, bro. This live.
Hey,
we gonna edit it.
you
I'm gonna
really-
freak it a
yeah.
little bit
That's
for you.
great.
We'll
We
make
got
sure
you,
you
bro.
hit the
We
strike
got
on the
you.
Come
film.
out here and get y'all bowling.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly. Easy to talk. It's easy for us to talk from all the way over here. We got to go make it happen. And Stevie Johnson, we appreciate your time every single week. And the good news is next week we can just give it another go. And there's always next game, right?
Exactly. I can tell though. He's
He's
side.
disappointed.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
know.
professional athlete.
He said one more.
One
All
more.
right,
All right,
one more.
all right.
Here we go.
Exactly.
One more.
Can't leave on a miss.
Look,
This is
man.
incredible.
funny.
This is so.
Look.
All right, teammates. Y'all take care, all right?
All right, Stevie,
Bye,
we
Stevie.
appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Stevie Johnson joining us as he does very, very often on the drive, guys. Great stuff there from Stevie Johnson. And, Jay, we have to give away this prize, actually, don't
Yes,
we,
we do.
here?
Yeah.
So
Co-work here.
we've got a beautiful little prize for y'all for all of you here as I get the paper. Here it is. Sacramento Kings Kempton Sawyer want to give you the night of your life. Have two lower level tickets to see the Sacramento Kings take on the Oklahoma City Thunder on November 7th. That is the very first NBA Cup game at Golden One Center. But on top of that, after the game, what could be better than getting some nice cold beverages over at Revival? And how about a night stay at the Kempton Sawyer Hotel as well? All in one. It's a fantastic giveaway that we got for you here. And all you have to do is text in the word DOCO, D-O-C-O, to 916-339-1140. That is, again, 916-339-1140. Text code DOCO, D-O-C-O, all one word, to 916-339-1140. And you will be entered in to win 2 lower level tickets to see the Kings Thunder, a one-night stay at the Kempton Sawyer, and a $200 gift card to the Revival, which is, by the way, one of my favorite places to go, not only for the games, but just in general. Like Revival on a weekend, they've got the pool there. If you got kids and you want to have a nice little cool environment.
The food is spectacular.
The food is really good. I used to get oysters there all the time. Me and my girlfriend, a little bit oyster snobs. Very good oysters there as well. Just a great vibe over at Revival. That is not part of the read. That is just my real honest reactions to Revival. Really, really good place in the Sawyer as well. I would say the nicest hotel in Sacramento. So you're getting quite the night there, and you get to see the Oklahoma City Thunder, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NBA. So it's a night of all bests. And again, DOCO, 888-339-1140. Now we are back to basketball. As it is Kings opening night, we get you ready. We talk some more Kings and some questions that need to be answered. And, with Jonathan Kuminga having the night that he had last night, are we just destined to repeat ourselves and just repeat the same conversations we had all summer long? We'll talk about it next, right here on The Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
The Kings play here, baby. Tonight, Kings and Suns. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 5:30 with tip-off at 7. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
Let's go.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-838-6767. That's 800-838-6767.
Toyota's legendary truck event is on, and the deals are legendary. Get low APR plus 500 bonus cash on 2025 Tacoma, or get a low-cost lease on Tacoma Double Cab, or get low APR or up to $3,000 cash back on 2025 Tundra. Get to your Toyota dealer now, because this truck event is gonna be Toyota. Let's go places. Offers available through TFS to buyers with premium ready credit. Cashback available through TMNA and cannot be combined with other offers. Ends 11/3/25.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729. Or visit us at powercopiers.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
For 77 years, the Keys family from Naturewood Home Furnishings has been serving families just like yours and mine. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with Golf to Go. The Naturewood team takes great pride and significant effort to offer Northern California families a vast selection of home furnishings, most of which are made right here in this country. The kitchen table, which we purchased so many years ago, speaks to the enduring quality of the Naturewood product lines. We treasure memories made seated around that table with family and friends for birthday celebrations, school projects, and many late-night meals when the day just got away from us. Naturewood has provided thousands with home furnishings that not only last for generations, but also lead to everlasting memories of cherished times. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings now during their 77th anniversary sale and get started making your own brand of memories. Meet the Keys family at Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Always more Kings talk to discuss.
And we got you covered. It's the Drive Guys.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to the Drive Guys. Chris Watkins, Kayla Anderson, Jay Johnson on the other side of the glass. You just missed our interview with Stevie Johnson. Talking a little, what are we in, week 8 of the NFL, if I'm not mistaken?
Man.
Absolutely flying by. 2 months into the NFL season. Getting the NBA season started last night. Of course, there's games on right now. We got Knicks Cavs in the first quarter. That one's a weird one for anybody tuning into the broadcast of it. It's TNT with Chuck and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie, but they have ESPN logos in front of them, but still on the TNT set. And so it's we're getting our first taste of what might be a very confusing broadcast setting for the year of basketball. I know they have like their daily calendar of I guess Tuesday is NBC
Prime.
Day. Prime is tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
I think so that's going to be interesting actually because that's a double Prime day.
Sure.
We get
Oh,
NFL
baby.
Thursday night football and we get I don't know what the NBA game's going to be on Prime tomorrow, but we're getting a little bit of doubleheader action
That's
there.
right, because it's Thursday.
Not a terrible way to kind of kick off the sports calendar. Actually, I'm seeing it's going to be on ESPN tomorrow.
Okay,
I guess
tomorrow's
they haven't
ESPN.
officially started the Prime games as of yet.
Okay.
But Thursday, we have OKC's going to be playing tomorrow again. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Actually, you get a finals rematch, OKC in Indiana and Denver and Golden State. So Warriors starting their season with 2 straight national TV games. But yes, Knicks Cavs underway right now. That one's got the Knicks in Mike Brown's first game as a head coach of the New York Knicks. They're up 25-16. And, a couple other games getting underway on the East Coast right now. Of course, Kings-Suns action tonight taking off in Phoenix. That one's going to be tip-off at 7 o'clock. Looking at the early spreads on it, Phoenix 4-point favorites. I think that's a little interesting. I didn't think that many were high on Phoenix this year, so a little bit interesting to see where those numbers lie. Maybe it has all to do with the Kings being down 2 pretty big pieces in that starting rotation, but this is why they roll the balls out there is to, you never know what's going to happen until the game actually happens.
And, it's one of those things where you said, what, a 4-point favorite?
4.5.
I almost wonder, did they give him home court?
I'm sure that's 2.
It's like, okay,
those
that's 2.
Yep.
Because they've got, Jalen Green's out for them.
Yep, let me get that official because we were confused on Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen.
He's out.
Okay.
Jalen Green is out. This was as of the technically 6:30. So what?
Okay.
Our time. I'm re-up it one more time. Let's see here.
I'm only seeing Jalen Green officially.
Okay.
Yeah. Grayson is probable.
Probable.
Okay.
Yes. So they might have him then. All right. So maybe that's part of it. And they look at it as Sabonis and, Keegan Murray are 2 big pieces, obviously, for them as well.
Massive pieces. And, all forwards as well, or I guess you call Sabonis a center as well. But all those guys obviously are going to impact a very specific part of the game. And if the Kings are just going to have a massive hole in terms of rebounding or rim protection or whatever it is that obviously you need your forwards for, it's a pretty clear and obvious gap that they're just going to be trying to fill for these first couple games. Again, Isaac Jones out tonight with an illness. That would have been a nice little bandage that you maybe could have had tonight. but we knew Domantas Sabonis was going to be out. Still waiting to hear officially what that date will be for his return. I believe they said reevaluating this weekend. So who knows? It could end up being, I know a lot of people have talked about Steph Curry, had a similar grade 1 hamstring. That ended up making him miss, I want to say, 4 postseason games. You can't, again, all injuries are individual and everybody's their own healer. Hammies, there can be different levels of even within that grade. And so who knows if he's going to be, we can wildly speculate if he's going to be back by next week. But for the time being, the Kings have to plan without Keegan Murray, without Domantas Sabonis, and all that entails. And so tonight, we talked about it a little bit earlier. It doesn't seem necessarily on paper like it would be a huge problem for the Kings. Again, Phoenix doesn't necessarily have dominant forwards and bigs and all that, but they do have some height. Jay mentioned earlier, Eddie Johnson mentioning yesterday on this program, Phoenix having 3 7-footers for the Kings to potentially deal with. All 3 of those guys presumably going to get minutes as well. It's not like, they're scrubs or anything like that. All of those guys are in their rotation. So lots of different holes for Doug Christie and his squad to try and plug up. And, I've been a big, questioner of, at what point here do the Kings have to start playing into some strengths? Because it's very clear that on most nights, for whether it just be because the roster is imbalanced or just a skill problem, I think they're going to have a lot of matchup issues. And so at some point here, we talk about Doug Christie wanting to implement this defensive identity. The roster doesn't really seem to be a defensive roster. And so at what point does maybe that messaging start to be at some point, hey, we are really good at, you've been pointing out, the Kings offense definitely doesn't lack. Maybe we should just be a truly elite offense, and that is our thing. But that is just going to be something that I'm going to continually be watching. But, of course, with tonight being the first step in that equation, definitely something I'm looking out for.
It's like you were mentioning, it's almost, and I know we've used this probably a lot on this station, and maybe fans have used this like a square peg in a round hole.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily work when you look at it in terms of what Doug Christie's preaching right now.
Yep.
It will get there, I believe.
Hopefully.
But right now, you have to feed on what they're good at. And it is right now offensively a team that you look down the roster, you're like, okay, he can score. So that's tonight. Let's just step one today in the season is let's just make sure the guys that we know are scorers and Levine and DeRozan, they need to make their shots. They need to be the ones that are knocking down, the baskets because Sabonis is out. And clearly, if you get out there and we're missing shots, and that, I believe, sets the tone, especially when you're on the road in game 1. And when you look at a team like Phoenix, who thrives on being a defensive team, I went over those numbers earlier on in the show in the preseason. Yeah. I mean, the numbers are pretty incredible in terms of what they were doing.
5th in defensive rating, first in turnovers, forced. Those are legitimate numbers.
Exactly. 2nd in steals per game. So they got to make sure to take care of the ball, but also to just be efficient in terms of the scoring tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've been hanging around Sac State football program quite a bit here this season. Jason Ross has kind of brought me under and been able to record some things with their coaching staff. But the thing that they've been preaching, and we've been talking with a lot of the student athletes as well, the one message that really seems to be getting through to those guys, and I think it would really do the Kings really well to kind of live under a similar mindset, is going 1-0. Going 1-0 in everything. Going 1-0 in your treatment. Going 1-0 in that drill. Going 1-0 in that rep. And it's something that I think really has resonated with those young guys at Sac State. And it's something that I think, especially with the Kings being down, but just in general with the 82-game slog, with all of the outside noise of what is this team? Are they constructed well? Are they too old? They don't make sense? All of that. I just think them having the mindset of, like you said, it's Phoenix tonight. Let's go 1-0 against the day, right? And then on Friday, let's go 1-0 on that day. Let's not worry about the potential slog that's ahead. Let's not think about the fact that, at some point we're going to have to deal with the Houston Rockets length and all of those issues. Let's just deal with what the game plan is tonight. Let's try and take care of what we can. And honestly, again, it kind of brings back the question of what is success. I think if all of those guys truly try and master their role, like I'm sure, I'm almost speaking for Doug at this point. But
I feel like I feel like this is Doug Christie on the airwaves right now talking to the team.
Like I think that's the kind of thing that that can really do well for this veteran team too. Because again, so much noise. What is Russell Westbrook? Even like Russell Westbrook versus Dennis Schroeder, like who's going to start? Blocking all that stuff out and just thinking about how this current unit today, however many guys are out there, whether it's Sabonis, whether it's Keegan, whether it's all of them, whether it's none of them, on that day, trying to figure out how they can maximize whatever their best is, I think is just going to be paramount. And of course, it's probably a cliche coaching thing to say, but I just truly think with this roster specifically, it's the only way that I can see them exceeding expectations, is being much better than everybody else, is if they truly do kind of really hunker down and try and win days.
That's all you can do right now. It's like put one foot in front of the other, because you are not the Houston Rockets. You are not the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, honestly, we can even say last night, and I know that Sac fans probably don't want to hear this, but
go ahead.
Golden State.
Yeah,
I mean,
they look sharp.
They
look really sharp last
Jonathan
night.
Kuminga, I can see why, they were interested in him here and other play because he even looked like, he was a part of being even a starter last night. He started the game.
Yeah.
So you have to block out like comparing yourselves to other teams. I sound like myself telling me this in the business like years ago. Kayla, quit comparing yourself to all these other people in the business. Focus on yourself, your team, and how they're going to take steps to be better.
Truly.
And it might not be perfect, but give them a chance. Just give them a chance to just start the season 1-0. And if it's 0-1, we can reset the conversation.
But that's when you go 1-0 the next day, right?
Yeah.
100%.
So I get like fans are weary. Don't tell me that I get that, because I've been weary about all my teams as well. They've stunk for years. But at the same time, this is a lot of newness, and you got to give an opportunity
100%.
for them to at least try.
Yeah, no, definitely.
To show who they are.
It's going to be interesting, too, because I wonder, with it being a veteran-led team, if that helps them maybe keep that mindset. It is guys who kind of understand how long the season can be and maybe do understand more of like, hey, just try and win the day. Only control what you can control. Don't get too lost in everything, because it can spiral. Or if maybe it is just in general harder to motivate those guys because they're maybe more cynical or anything like that. And as the season progresses, I think it's just going to be something to monitor.
Yeah.
Like, where are these guys at? How much does that success, what is success barometer change throughout the year? Like, I think obviously, again, right now it feels like success for this team. If they win 40 games, 41 games, I think if they're sitting near 500 and they feel competitive most nights, to me, in my opinion, that's this team reaching their potential. That is what they should do, in my opinion, is again, I'm not saying they have to finish 40, but if you're 38 to 43 wins, to me, that's around where this team should be. Anything less than that, to me, would be not meeting expectations. Anything more is obviously exceeding. But, I think that can change based off of injuries, based off of trades and who they end up trading for. So it's the start of the season. Everything is new. Everything is fresh. Everything is possible. But I think with where their feet are right now, they have a chance to win tonight. Absolutely. Even though they aren't the favorites going in tonight, they have a great chance to win on Friday at home with all the energy that brings against a team that projects to be one of the worst in the West. And then let's just not look at the schedule past them, because I promise you it is not nearly as easy as what those first two games are. So at the very least, let's try and keep some blinders on for these first two games. Let's try and start the season about as well as you can, and definitely want to start to show some of the things that Doug Christie has been preaching, because I do think it shouldn't get lost in the process, right? Like, they can win tonight, but it would also be great if they win the right way.
Correct. Exactly.
And so, that is just, again, another thing to watch for tonight's game. And I just can't wait. I can't wait to get all of the answers.
I'm excited to watch my first full Kings game here.
It's going to be incredible.
In Sacramento.
I promise.
I know it's not live, but
it'll be everything good and bad that you could ever think. Coming up next, we mentioned Jonathan Kuminga a little bit. We talk about last night's action in the NBA, cover what's going on right now in the league, and, of course, get you ready for this Kings-Suns game, including how watchable the Kings will be this season. You're listening to The Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Suns.
Tip off at 7. Your exclusive home for Kings basketball
is Sactown Sports 1140.
The Sactown Sports 49ers Report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. San Francisco gets a huge win on Sunday night, beating Atlanta 20-10 to improve to 5-2 on the year. A historic night for Christian McCaffrey. 201 yards of total offense, 129 on the ground, 72 receiving, and a pair of touchdowns. San Francisco next in action at Houston on Sunday. You can catch all the action beginning at 9 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Football season is here at Kia of Vacaville. You can score big in a new 2025 Kia Niro LX with up to 53 MPG combined at Kia of Vacaville. Perfect for road trips, tailgates, and cruising to Levi Stadium in style and comfort. But don't wait. Inventory is limited at Kia of Vacaville, and these deals won't last long. Visit KiaVacaville.com or stop by right next to the Vacaville outlets for friendly service, easy shopping, and unbeatable value. All in one stop. Kia of Vacaville, where the adventure begins.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painters trust Kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. Now, the full lineup is only at the one place pros rely on. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers, exclusively at the Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
That's right, Drive Guys. Bringing you all the way up to game night. That's going to start in less than an hour. Henry Turner, Scott Marsh, bringing you all the way up to Kings pregame. Jay Ross and Henry Turner. And then, of course, 7 o'clock, you got the man, G-Man. 7 o'clock from Phoenix, Kings, Suns, right here, Sactown Sports. Mentioned Mike Brown in his first game. That's tipped off for the New York Knicks in New York, as the Knicks are up currently 40-27, off to a big lead in that one. OG Anunoby, he's doing his thing. Mikal Bridges, 4 for 4 from the field in that one. Karl Anthony Towns did play in that one. There was some question on whether he was going to be healthy, but looking good against the team in the Cavs that I think hopes to kind of get over that hump. They've been a little bit of that, Dallas Mavericks of old, where they get the 1 seed or finish as a top 3 seed, and then come playoff time, all of a sudden you don't look like one of the elite teams in the league. So definitely should be a very, very interesting Eastern Conference this year. Wide open. Obviously, the Pacers lose Tyrese Halliburton. They lose Miles Turner. They probably won't return to that seat. It just kind of leaves it open. Obviously, Boston without Jason Tatum. Who knows? I'm not going to speculate if Jason Tatum's going to come back or not. He's allegedly eyeing a return this season. I think that's one of the most insane things I've ever heard in my life, but they are nonetheless hoping that he can return this season. Nonetheless, it seems like the East is wide open for the taking. And you saw last night that the West is the complete opposite.
Yep.
Well, I guess you could say it's the same in the sense of I think everyone does have an incredibly competitive team, and realistically, I think anyone can win. Would I say it's wide open? I don't know if that's the phrasing I would use, because it feels like whoever gets to the end is just going to be battered and bruised from having to go through. It really doesn't matter what path it is. There is no easy path in the Western Conference. And last night was just the prime example of what any team is going to have to face if they want to get to even the conference championship.
I know. And like both games, really. We started off with a banger, obviously, in Oklahoma City, and you had the Houston Rockets and KD returning to Oklahoma City, which,
that was crazy.
Sorry, Sonics, we still claim him. Like, I don't know if you can even really claim him.
Hey, they booed him last night, so clearly OKC's not home for him.
I know. I was waiting to see. My bets were on the booze just because that just seemed.
Surprised.
But
That's
I was
funny.
a little surprised.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. It was definitely. And it was funny because you could see his teammates trying to be like, yeah. Who cares, man? Who cares? But what a game. And really, with the Houston Rockets, Chris and Jay, like leading most of the game because SGA was really not on his game early on. It didn't really come till the late quarter in the fourth, and then obviously overtime. That's what makes SGA. It's like he clicks it on and clearly like led them to the victory with his free throw to win it.
Very SGA.
Very SGA.
Like it could not be a more SGA finish, right? At the free throw line.
I was like, well, there you go.
Yep, chef's kiss. And it was a great move. Like it was a great move to get him to the free throw line.
It was.
But very SGA for the game to end at the free throw line in itself. And weird game for them from the free throw line. I think he missed like 3 in the fourth quarter in overtime, which he usually is obviously taking a ton of free throws. Like it's never been a problem for him to make them. So it was a really, really strange game. But great performance. If you're the Houston Rockets,
I know.
You don't deal in moral victories.
Without a point guard.
But like
a true point guard.
Kind of a moral victory, right? Like you look good. The offense at points, I think, showed that you don't need that point guard in order to run the show, especially with KD out there. Like some possessions, give him the ball and let the rest figure itself out. Şengün clearly looks like he took a massive leap over the summer. Tons of talk about how he improved his game over with Turkey and Eurobasket. He hit, I think 5 threes yesterday, and I think they said he only hit 21 all of last year. So he's clearly looked to spread out his game quite a bit. And if you're Houston, I think you feel overall positive. But there were moments last night, especially down the stretch, where I was literally screaming at my television, which I don't do usually if it's not a team that I really care about. But get Kevin Durant the ball.
I know.
It's why you traded for him. You have literally no point guard. Last minute of the game, to me, Kevin Durant has to have the ball
in his hands.
Every possession.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, again, if he shoots it, he makes it. But you saw in that last possession, he gets double teamed pretty much at the half court line, leaves Şengün wide open for a cut, and you get an easy basket, which could have been a game winner for them. But Yeah, that definitely stuck out to me last night, and it's game one, and that's maybe where I'm not factoring in some of the maybe rawness from both sides of this tonight. There's going to be a lot of figuring each other out, and that is, as you mentioned earlier, which is my stat of the day, 10 new players for Phoenix, 9 new players for Sacramento. Again, it might look a little messy at points because it's a lot of new guys, new coaches on both sides, which is huge.
Yep.
Just trying to figure it out. Like, and probably first half specifically, a lot of figuring it out with lineups that these guys just aren't familiar with.
Yeah, and again, with the lineup for, the Kings, which we'll see what the starting five will be. But, having two of your really good players out in Domantas Sabonis and obviously Keegan Murray, that makes things even more difficult because it's not just like, a deep bench player that's out. Like these are guys that are starting players. And you had spoke about the Keegan Murray position, specifically depth there. I think that's the biggest question right now because he's going to be out for what, like 10 games is what we're thinking?
I think it's somewhere from 10 to 17 or 18.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
So that's the biggest for me question mark because we know Sabonis is going to be back sooner than later. Yeah. For me, it's like who is going to fill in that point and not just fill in, but have to play somewhat decent enough.
For sure.
I mean,
you talked earlier about making shots. Keegan Murray is at the very least a shot maker for this team. Like he's not creating his own
defensively,
shot. Oh my goodness,
good.
Right. If
really
we're going to be talking about this team trying to establish a defensive identity again. A huge hole that this team is missing. And so, a great point by you. And, you also mentioned earlier this team has to make shots.
Yeah.
I hope they can. I really hope they can, especially, when things are potentially maybe looking ugly. That's maybe where DeMar DeRozan really showed last year his ability to just kind of get it out the mud and say, like, I can hit tough shots if there's no offense going here. Just how the team looks 100% is going to be crucial for tonight and the starting point of where we are for this season. And I think, as we've mentioned, the Kings really, really need to start off hot as they have two, you can call them inferior opponents, looking in front of them before just an absolute slugfest of a Western Conference schedule hits after that. So, definitely looking for some good stuff from guys that we might not expect tonight, but also expecting a little bit of ugly from a lot of the guys. And that plays into how watchable tonight's game is going to be. And, of course, as we get you truly leading up to this game tonight, we get you with our keys to tonight's game. You're listening to The Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
Touchdown 49ers! Every game on your number one sports station. Don't miss the action on your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Toyota's legendary truck event is on, and the deals are legendary. Get low APR plus 500 bonus cash on 2025 Tacoma, or get a low-cost lease on Tacoma Double Cab, or get low APR or up to $3,000 cash back on 2025 Tundra. Get to your Toyota dealer now, because this truck event is gonna be Toyota. Let's go places. Offers available through TFS to buyers with premier rated credit. Cashback available through TMNA and cannot be combined with other offers. Ends 11/3/25.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder, thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration. The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Ready to pregame for your next big arena event? Head to Beach Hut Deli, a Sacramento tradition for over 40 years where aloha is served daily. Located just steps from the arena, whether it's game day or a concert night, it's the perfect spot to gather with friends and enjoy amazing sandwiches. Planning a bigger get-together? Beach Hut Deli offers endless catering options to bring those fresh, delicious flavors to your next party or event. Beach Hut Deli. Good vibes, great food, and epic times await.
Guys, tired all the time, gaining weight, low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is making it easier to get answers with a comprehensive wellness panel. It's not just a lab test, it's where better performance begins. Our providers will check your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. A $400 value for just $99, or free if you start treatment. Over 120,000 men have trusted Revive to restore their energy, mood, and confidence. So if you're ready to feel better and live stronger, call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Offer ends November 30th. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
And final segment of the Drive, guys, leading you into game night, 5:30. Mentioned at the start of last segment that the New York Knicks were up big.
Yeah.
I believe at the time it was 40-27. Well, since the Cavs have gone on quite a run, I believe it said 16-4, bringing this one to 43-47, New York up. So that one's good, and it does remind me of a stat that I saw last night in the OKC game that I think in general we should just keep in our minds for the entirety of the Kings season. They said last year, OKC, when they were down by 10 at any point in the game, I think it said they went 18-10 for the year, which was last year. And OKC, best team in the league. What my brain immediately went to is the best team in the league was down 10 28 times last year. And again, this example that we're seeing in this Knicks-Cavs game, again tells me in today's NBA, we have to keep in mind on both sides, whether the Kings up 15 or the Kings down 15, these games are never over until the final whistle has blown. And yes, I hope that they keep that mentality.
I was like,
I hope
hopefully they don't get in that spot in game one. But you're right. It is crazy to think like you look up in a matter of like 5 minutes.
That was legitimately one segment we did, and it was
like basketball
game. So yeah, never get too high, never get too low. We hope that for the players. I would like to instill that into the fan base as well. I think it would do everyone some good. But just a reminder that again, in today's NBA, it is just absolutely insane the game of runs that you can go on. And hopefully I think with this veteran-led team, hopefully they again understand that more so than anybody, and will be able to ride those waves. But most importantly, again, 28 times the best team in the league was down last year by 10 points. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. And so, yeah, just kind of keeping that in mind for all the games moving forward. and there is a good slate of games tonight. Most teams getting, actually all teams except for the ones that played last night, getting their first action. De'Aaron Fox, and he will not be playing tonight, but his San Antonio Spurs will be playing on ESPN later against the Dallas Mavericks. That should be an interesting one. Of course, Cooper Flagg getting his first NBA action. He'll be starting at point guard, which is interesting. You can maybe add them to the list of I really don't want the Kings to play them because of their size. But really good to just have the NBA back in action, back in full swing. And Kayla, is there anything, just, I guess, not to put you on the spot, but in general, this NBA season that has your interest, you're hoping to see? I guess I'll start it off just to kind of give you some time to do it. But I think, and it's maybe easy, and I just kind of mentioned it, but just in general, the Western Conference. Yeah. But as I say that, honestly, I do think the East is even more entertaining than that. I was going to, do the obvious Western Conference thing, but I do think in general how open the East is and just how it's going to play out, like which teams and how aggressively they go. I think this is Cleveland and New York, honestly, are the perfect two examples.
Two really good favorites.
Both of those teams don't really feel like I don't want to say they don't have a chance moving, but more so, they don't have a Giannis. They don't have, obviously the Pacers can say Tyrese Halliburton and the team that he has led these past couple years. The Knicks have obviously been in the conversation, but at some point here, it does feel like they are going to reach their ceiling. How many teams, even Philadelphia, I wonder, they had a year from hell last year.
They can never seem to get over
If Joel Embiid
anything.
can play 40 games, maybe we can have a more serious Philadelphia conversation. But the bigger thing is just in general, I think the Eastern Conference is completely open, and how everyone acts accordingly is just going to be incredibly fascinating to see play out. Who's going to be aggressive? Who's maybe going to sell? And just in general, is there going to be teams that we don't expect? Is a Detroit Pistons? Is a Atlanta Hawks? Are those kind of teams?
Are they going to take
rise
a step
from
forward?
Nowhere? Absolutely.
Because I think we just mentioned the game we're watching right now with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks and Mike Brown. Obviously, it's one of those things where I think in the East, along with a couple others, they're kind of up there in terms of what people expect in terms of winning the East. But then you go to the West, and it's like, holy smokes, this is where it's at. Like, this is where all the gold is,
Crazy.
And just seeing from what we saw last night in the games that we had mentioned, and then we talk about the Lakers. That's another thing that I'm interested in this year. I know, people are tired of the LeBron conversation, but with LeBron James not really, playing last night and really looking at them and saying, okay, is it a really good team without LeBron? What is this team?
Yeah.
And I questioned that a couple times last night with LeBron not in the lineup, but then there's still the conversation of LeBron might not even be there next season. Yeah. I'm like, well, you probably need him still, even though he's old and we all say like he should retire. Some of us do and some of us don't. But that's the other thing that will be interesting and intriguing. And then with the Golden State Warriors too, who they're still in the mix.
Absolutely.
I know we don't want to admit it,
100%.
But seeing them last night and Jimmy Butler, and sometimes he fades, but he looked good to start the season.
Last night. 16. I think he had 16 free throws last night. I think he's taking another free throw right now.
Steph, we all know, is one of the most efficient free throw shooters, like 91 point something percent.
It's probably higher.
I think someone made a bet with Butler about Butler's like, I'm going to beat that percentage this year. It was like this funny thing that they were talking about on the broadcast. I was like, okay. But that should be interesting to see if they can really make another run at it with the old guys.
Yeah, I think both of those teams, the Lakers and the Warriors, the two teams that played last night.
Yeah.
It's weird that I think both of those teams, realistically, if you were to ask me or tell me that, hey, I'm from the future, I'm from 4 months in the future, and let me tell you how the standings ended up shaking out, I would realistically believe you if you told me that both of those teams, Lakers, I probably would believe a little bit less.
Yeah.
But if you were to tell me that those teams were, from 3 seed all the way down to honestly like a 9 seed, it's crazy that I would believe you and could definitely see how either of those positions could play. Again, I think the Warriors have shown potential to still have a little bit left in the tank. I think post Jimmy Butler trade, their defense specifically, one of the best in the league. Lakers last year in total, people forget.
Yeah.
I want to say they were the 2 seed, if not the 3 seed last year in the Western Conference. And so both of those teams I could see being at the top, but also because of how competitive it is, and it might be, again, wraps it all the way back to us talking about these games are now real. Every single one of these counts and could affect your season later. I do think it could just be the difference of 4 or 5 games that separate the 2 and 3 seed versus the teams that are in the play-in conversation. And that's not even going out on a limb, honestly. Sure. That's just what it's been these past 3 to 4 years in the Western Conference. And so it definitely leads to excitement, but I think it could also lead to chaos. Like if Jimmy Butler goes down for 10, 15 games.
That's what I was just going to say. Health of some of these older teams, right?
All of them.
That's realistic. You got to think about that.
Stars getting hurt, too.
Exactly.
I mean, that ends up shaping every single year. Memphis, obviously, their past 4 years, feels like have been shaped.
They can't get a break.
They just cannot, from all aspects. Jaren Jackson, Zach Edey can't even get on the floor. And so, I think, if SG, knock on wood, if SGA goes down, that feels like a team that maybe isn't able to, save themselves maybe as much as some other, again, if Steph goes down, maybe Jimmy can rise that tide a little bit more than what, let's say, a Chet Holmgren could do in OKC. So, I think in general, for different reasons why each conference is so intriguing is really going to be the story of the season. The competitiveness from head to toe of the West, and then just the openness of the East.
And if someone steps up, like you said, that's interesting. Like, what team can look at that and be like, there's a little more space to get into this mix in the conference than there is on the Western side. Like, that's a little more closed right now, at least, where the East are like, they got teams that are like, okay, let's see if we can work with something here.
100%. And how does that shape both sides, right? Like, if a team in the East is gonna try and be aggressive and attack, well, does that come at the expense of maybe a West team? And what does that do, again, to the whole hierarchy of everything? Who starts to go into tank mode at what point as well? That is just a big topic here at Sacramento specifically, but other teams are going to deal with that as well. And, just trying to figure out where the Kings are going to fit into the hierarchy of that Western Conference is absolutely fascinating. You can do the exercise, and I think you can come up with 10 teams that are more exciting, that have better storylines than the Kings. But does that necessarily mean when the ball's rolled out that the Kings are truly going to be on the outside looking in? I don't know. I've tried to do the exercise. I've listed the teams out. To me, the Kings are much more so in this middle pack than I think people give them credit for. To me, I don't think they're in this, to me, it's top tier is Denver, OKC, Minnesota. After that, I probably go both LA teams, the Warriors, and maybe you could throw another team in there. And then to me, it's everybody else, kind of fighting for the 6 through 11 spot. And I'd believe you if Dallas was at the top. I would believe you if you said Portland or Sacramento is at the top. But I just think that is really going to be the race that I'm watching, is just at the bottom of that Western Conference. I think the Kings could realistically fit anywhere in there. I think they could somehow escape the play-in and maybe be a 6 seed, but I think more than likely, I think a lot of people see this as 8, 9, 10 more than likely where the Kings are going to land.
That's where I was thinking, like the 8-ish, 9-ish spot. And again, there's a lot that can happen with this team. Clearly, this team is unfortunately dealing with injuries out of the gate. Not as serious as some of these other ones that we've seen even before the season started with some of these Achilles and stuff. Thank goodness, at least right now. So tonight, as we're waiting to see what this starting lineup is going to be, we had brought up just the development of players and the development of some of these younger guys will be something we're looking for throughout the season, which includes Neat Clifford, which I know a lot of fans are really excited about the potential that they've seen so far. And I'm curious because I know DeMar DeRozan spoke about Neat Clifford.
Very highly of
him. He said how smooth he was. He's very mature, his skill set. He already has that foundation, being an older rookie, some of the things that DeMar DeRozan had spoke about and told reporters about earlier this year. Realistically, and I know Jay, you had mentioned earlier just kind of keeping things, not just throwing them into the fire. Realistically, what do we expect out of this rookie?
Yeah, it's tonight. for the season, I think, I am expecting him to, and it kind of can go to the conversation of like, what is success and like, should everyone kind of run their own race? I think him specifically, I want to say just looking comfortable, like, especially with it being his first game. Yeah. If we're talking about just tonight specifically, I feel weird giving specific numbers, saying like, I want double-digit points or double-digit assists because
that's hard
again,
to do
with it being on the road, with it being his first NBA game, I expect him to get minutes. I expect him to contribute 100%. I guess, and it's maybe because of, the longness of the season, but I really just want to see him look comfortable and know that we're starting from a decent foundational spot. He can step on the floor and we don't have to worry about, him just getting confident for 10 to 15 games. If he can look confident, look comfortable, look like he belongs day one, anything else to me is gravy. Others might have bigger expectations for him, and I honestly wouldn't blame you for it. He has shown that he can handle that much more of a burden. But realistically, I think I don't feel comfortable saying anything more than just him being comfortable out there. And, I think if we're looking further into the season, I would love for him to at some point challenge for a starting role.
That's what I was thinking.
Being in that kind of conversation, right? At least us starting to feel confident that whatever this kid's going to give us, we want to see more of it. And I think that's, something that shouldn't be taken for granted. I don't think Kings fans take it for granted because, again, we've seen so many even higher draft picks give us nothing. And I think that's, again, where my expectations for this are just going to be so tempered, especially day one. I just... Yeah,
they almost have to be.
He's played great, but I think it has to be that way. Yeah. Just because I don't really like the wins and losses of this season. Again, where I'm just not sure how much it overall matters. I think the season is more about us understanding what we're working with moving forward.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I know Jay had mentioned that point earlier as well. Is it just not like throwing him into the fire? He's a rookie, and at some point he's going to have to learn, this is the NBA.
Sink or swim a little,
Right, and he's kind of shown that in situations with the preseason and summer league. That's not the same as the real season. But there's something about Nick Clifford, just watching the interviews with you guys on Sactown Sports and Media Day, and the way he just, is a little bit more of an older rookie. He's done it at, for 4 years in college. So it just seems like he could be that next guy for Sacramento fans that they could rally behind, but give him a little time to get to that. I understand that, but it is exciting to see that at least promise kind of early on.
Of course.
So
especially
it'll be fun
from a guy,
to watch.
again, what Jay corrected me earlier, 24th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Like that is far from a guarantee.
And he has a chip on his
production.
shoulder for that because a lot of people feel he fell because of the age.
Yes.
And so for the Sacramento Kings to come up and get him, he wanted to be here.
Yeah.
And that kind of gives you pride as a player too. Like, okay, y'all doubted me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to eventually become that dude for this organization.
And I hope the Kings, I'm sure they will. They seem to love Neek. I just hope they give him as big of an opportunity as possible because I think he deserves it. I think that he's shown that he's more than capable of handling a bigger workload. And I think ultimately the things that has impressed me most with Neek is how he's handled everything so far, is how he's handled an increased workload the more and more he continues to show. And like even just the person himself just seems to have a really good head on his shoulders. And, his game itself, like he's got a little bit of I won't say a grown man's game because he's not out here, dunking on people and throwing his body around, but his body control in general.
He makes it look a little easy.
Really good. Yeah.
Sometimes dang, you make
up
it
and
look.
under that looked really good. He had a finish, I want to say it might have been in the Clipper game where he took some contact and finished at the rim. Like he's shown some things that do – like he's just checking so many boxes, and it's again you just have to temper your expectations. You don't want to give him too much, but everything that he's done has really made it hard to not get really excited about him. And then even yesterday, Brendan Nunez quoted Dennis Schroeder at practice says, quote, he's special when talking about Neek. How he reads the game, always at his own pace, never gets rushed. Really was surprised about his passing ability throughout the preseason. And again, you read DeMar's quote as well. DeMar said 2 days ago of Neek Clifford, quote, he really believes, the tweet is, DeMar DeRozan said he, quote, really believes Neek Clifford is going to be a star in this league, unquote. Quote, he's very mature and very smooth with his skill set. And so when you see what you see, when you have, again, heard how he carries himself and all of these things, and then you start to hear from veterans on the team, veterans in this league, I guess the next step would be hearing from the other side, hearing from, if Devin Booker has a quote tonight about how Neek Clifford gave good energy or anything like that. That's kind of the next step of, all right, we really might be seeing something here, but Dennis saying he's special, I don't want to take that and run with it. I'm more going to take it as, again, it's special that this kid this early in his career is showing the confidence, is showing the capabilities to do what he's doing. I'm not going to read it as Dennis Schroeder thinks that Neek Clifford is a once-in-a-lifetime playmaker or anything.
Exactly.
Like that.
He's not a lottery pick. Like, we got to wait a little bit and see. But again, it's just these little things in terms of these younger players, seeing that development throughout the season. I think that's what I'm also looking forward to. But tonight, I don't know what to expect. I mean, it's just going to be it's going to be interesting.
Expect the unexpected, right?
Yeah. I mean, I hope a win. That's what I'm hoping for, a win.
Yeah, exactly. It's game one. That's all you can hope to leave with is a win. Health, I think, is another thing.
Scoring point,
getting through preseason.
Yeah, like let's not let the Phoenix Suns defensively hold them to 85 points because they're not winning a game like that.
Let's hope that the Kings respond to court, or at least show some signs of maturity, right?
Exactly.
Like they might not get there all in one night. They might, like you said, if they score 85 points, limit them to 95. Don't let it be 85 to 115. Yeah. I think there's definitely some maybe incremental growth that we can see in this game specifically, but throughout the season, of course, throughout the first 10 games, of course. But yeah, as of tonight, I just don't want to say don't have your expectations high. I just don't think that you should have many expectations, if that does make sense, because I just think we really don't know with the uncertainty of the starting lineup, with the uncertainty of what the team is going to look like, what kind of offense they're going to run. Is it going to be heavy pick and roll? We've seen Domantas Sabonis be, obviously Sabonis isn't out there, but we've seen them, lean into dribble handoffs defensively. Will they pick up 94 feet? Yeah. Will it be half court? Just in general, how is that pressure going to look? There's so many things to look at for tonight. But again, everything is a work in progress, and you just hope that they show the right energy. I think that's the biggest thing. Night one, again, not really across the board showing great energy in the preseason. A little bit of understanding of this is all real right here, right now. These things matter, and frankly, we can't afford to trick off any games because we're just not in a position in this tough Western Conference where we can do that.
Yeah, and speaking of energy, we know that Dennis Schroeder will probably start tonight because the ankle looks to be okay. But Russell Westbrook, we talk about this guy. We haven't even really mentioned him today. And I forget sometimes he's here now. And I know this isn't the same Russ that was early on in his career, but I'm curious to see just that even coming off the bench and what he brings, energy and intensity wise, even on the bench, you like seeing him, and then when he comes in, obviously coming off the bench and what we see out of him, you got to have that. And that's why they brought him here is to bring that into that, locker room and on the court. So you got to see that from the jump as well tonight. And it looks like he's thrilled to be here. He's excited to get out there. So I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he is too. I mean, he's somebody who obviously always plays with a ton of energy, always on 100%. He only knows one speed, and that's 100 miles an hour. Yeah. He throws a fastball. I think from all aspects, this team needs that. It needs a little bit of a dog. It needs somebody who, we mentioned Dillon Brooks, somebody who, if Dillon Brooks is going to start something, we got somebody who might be able to finish something. And that's finally something that might be nice. Russell Westbrook bringing a little bit of veteran leadership. We saw him and DeMar talking on the bench a lot in that Laker last preseason game. Just all that stuff. And even, Neek Clifford heading to the bench maybe after his first stint. Russell Westbrook taking him to the side, maybe it could just be person stuff. It could be, hey, like, how do you feel after that? Hey, calm yourself down, whatever. It could be specifics of, hey, like, maybe next time cut on this, whatever it may be. I think that we're going to hopefully see a lot of that kind of stuff out of Russell Westbrook. And frankly, I love that not really much of what we've talked about with Russ has been on the floor, because I would almost say the expectation things for Russ as well. I don't know what to expect. I know he's going to give a ton of energy. People can debate all they want on how much he's got left in the tank, where his knees are at, if he's still got the leaping ability. But
he's
I
got
just
the
think
fashion.
He's got the fashion.
We know
that guy brings the effort every single night, and that's, again, just something that I think Kings fans are going to recognize from day one, and they're going to love. I just think the amount of hustle and effort that guy puts every single night, it jumps off the TV.
Yeah, I want to see it jump off the TV tonight. Let's just it's the Suns, and I know they're probably saying it's the Kings,
right?
But you got to get this one.
It's an opportunity in front of you. Again, we can go down the list of the potential opponent, or not the potential opponents, the opponents that the Kings will have down the road. But as we've mentioned, they have two really good opportunities right in front of them tonight, and then again on Friday for the home opener against the Utah Jazz. After that, things start to get a little bit tougher, but we can cross that bridge once we get there. As for tonight, where you're going to be able to get all the Kings action right here, Sactown Sports 1140. We got game night about to tip off in about, 5 or so minutes. You got pregame at 6:30. You got G-Man about to tip off season 41 of Sacramento Kings basketball at 7 o'clock right here on Sactown Sports 1140. It's all going to be good all season long. We have your Kings talk every single day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Should be a good one tonight. Again, we are all just hoping for the Kings to go 1-0 every single day, and hoping that, this season it's going to have a lot of twists, a lot of turns. We just hope that in the end here, they're competing every single night, and at some point we start to see an identity start to show with this team. Doug Christie, game one officially of his tenure. Scott Perry as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Can't wait, and especially can't wait for Friday's home opener. But we got to get through tonight first. You got game night again, 5 or so minutes. Kayla Anderson joined me today.
Yeah, it was fun, guys.
Jay Johnson, other side of the glass. You already know what you're going to get with Jay. Stevie Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for bowling with us as well. You've been listening to the Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After